Welcome, everyone, to Afternoon Delight Podcast with myself, Art, and Mr. Bob Sharp. We're back, and we've got a whole new episode for you guys, and we're going to dig into conspiracy theories.
I love it.
Conspiracy theories.
I love it.
Now, I got to ask, because everyone has a different definition of how they want to describe someone that is a conspiracy nut.
Uh-huh.
I use the word nut. So
Yeah.
That
There you go.
pretty much goes where I'm going with it, but you can't help but you getting yourself put in that rabbit hole with those people, and that's one of the things I can't.
Those people.
Those people. Who are those people?
Those people. Like you start listening to them, and you can kind of feel yourself getting put into that little rabbit hole, and you're just like, you're shaking your head, and you're like, okay, some of it makes sense, but then you really got to sit down and think about it and go, no, that's fucking stupid. How do you look at a conspiracy? And I'm not going to say not a conspiracy person that's just deep into conspiracies. Because they're like all of them. They're like, if they like one, if they're involved in one, they're in the chain.
Yeah. Now, did you ever watch the new version of Hawaii Five-0?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So they had a big dude. They had a big dude on there named Jerry. Jerry was into every conspiracy, man. He had books and paperwork on everything. Jerry was my hero, man. Yeah. Jerry helped him solve some cases and stuff, but as far as conspiracies go, Jerry was into every one of them, man.
Yeah. I know, like, I've read some things and trying to explain like why these people are so into these conspiracies, and it goes into education, it goes into their social status with people, and how they interact with people. These I don't want to say they're like sheltered people that are like that, they're by themselves all the time. There's like what is the phrase that I'm trying to
incels?
But like they're just so, like, I forget the word, convoluted. No, I can't remember the word, but they're just they're loners. They're
They're loners looking for a place in the world, and they want to solve, I guess, all the great mysteries of the world.
Yeah. And they find a connection. So it's a thing
with
too.
Those people,
Exactly, with mind light people like them.
Yeah.
I like the shirt, man.
You like the
jizzle? That's the new merch or what?
Yeah. Or jizzle.
Yeah.
No, seriously, man. We could put those up on like Temu or something.
Check out
sell those. But hey, we should do a merch website. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Heck yeah.
Come on now. I would buy a
Etsy.
shirt with our logo up there with the three little dudes up there.
Yeah.
That'd be a hell of a t-shirt right there.
We will do them on tees.
Yeah. Now, we could say something like, searching the truth for all generations.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
But yeah, I think people like that, it's kind of just like a person who's brokenhearted. You get someone who, male or female or whatever, your partner cheats on you. You had multiple partners break your heart.
Yeah.
You just start thinking like, oh yeah, all women are liars, all men are liars.
Yeah, but too. I think it's it's the person who wants to show the world they know something. I'm going to prove
that
this.
Too. Yeah,
I'm going to prove this. And that person probably been kicked around in life. You know what I mean? But they know something that they think they know something nobody else does.
Yeah.
Hey, let me prove this.
Yeah. And when you watch, like, I watch a lot of History Channel, and I watch a lot of these debunk channels. These guys are weird.
Yeah.
They look weird. They got weird hair. They wear clothes. And it's just like, you're looking at them.
You're talking about that guy from Ancient Aliens.
And it's like, But when you're listening to these guys, Bob, and you're talking, and they're talking about, let's just go moon landing.
Yeah.
And do you ever feel like have you ever felt like you're getting yourself pulled in, drawn into believing it sometimes?
Well, it all depends on. Look, it all
moon landing is fake, by the way.
I'm saying it's real, but okay. But it's like
that was all Hollywood, man.
Yeah, it's like what side of the fence you're going to be on and stuff. But yeah, but there are questions about everything, though. You know what I'm saying?
Question everything is always something you should do.
The dangerous part is when I was doing some reading on this subject, the dangerous part is when you come into contact with an individual that is a conspiracy theorist, and they really sound good saying what they're saying.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And they're intelligent.
Right.
So they already have these check marks because you already know this person's intelligent. You already know he's got a bachelor's degree in physics. He's got all these credentials, and he's spewing out this nonsense. You can't help but feel like getting drawn into that conspiracy because you're saying to yourself, "Hey, this guy, he's a PhD. He's a you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Then and
that's tough.
Yeah, because they throw out, well, I'm a PhD, and
you're over
it's like, oh, so a little of something, okay?
Yeah.
You know something about in your field, okay? But
it doesn't mean you're right about everything,
right? Yes, there's common sense that you don't know nothing about, but I'm a PhD in like physics. Yeah. Great, okay. So if Mona walks down the street and she's a hooker, she makes $20. You know what I mean? How many dudes is she gonna do in an hour? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Aiden, walk away, brother. Aiden, headphones. Earmuffs.
You get that intelligent person, and we all know using certain words and using big words really makes people want to listen because now your brain's saying, "Hey, this guy knows what he's talking about, so I got to listen." And even though he may be spewing a whole bunch of nonsense, you can't help but feel like you're getting drawn into like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Fuck yeah, that rock don't belong there. Yeah, you know what? I saw the face on the moon. Damn it."
Yeah. Well, it all stems from, I think, like a lot of it has to do with government stuff.
Yeah.
Like once you find out, like the government lied about something, that's what I meant about like a scorned lover.
Yes.
Once you find out, you start going, well, is this true?
Right.
Are they lying about this and all this other stuff? So
yeah, the government ones are the ones where I can kind of feel myself getting drawn into those only because of the distrust I have for my government, you know, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start hearing, the John F. K thing, and it's just like you start hearing all this stuff that's going on and who was involved and who wasn't involved. And when you start, getting into that, you start to realize that the CIA had a lot to do with it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at G. Gordon Liddy.
Yeah, that just sends this domino effect on all these other things. January 6th, what really truly happened there, all these things.
Well, you know what though, but seriously, if you did you see the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg?
Yes.
Okay. That whole thing and that old dude up in the mountains, that they go see. Yes. He said that's how every conspiracy works.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and you watched and see how everything developed and how they, like I said,
Oh, that's good. I just want to taste it.
They had evidence 20 minutes after it happened.
Yeah.
They had, and like nobody else has done that, but it's just like JFK. It's, JFK was, he was assassinated because he was a northern Democrat who didn't align with the Southern Democrat policies.
So
and they had him make Lyndon Baines Johnson his vice president because he was a Southern Democrat, and you had to have they get the Democrats together. But the ideology of the North and South is different because the Southern guys were still KK guys, racist, and they still wanted to run the country. But when he won, he was more of a free thinker. Hey, we're going to give civil rights and we're going to treat everyone equal. No, we got to keep the people down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're telling me the Italian mob was not involved in?
No, the Italian mob was not involved.
No,
it was the Southern.
Now the Italian. Let me make sure that's off.
It was.
What was that?
It was.
Is that the boss telling you?
Yeah. The Italian mob did have reasons to want to kill him.
Right.
He pretty much screwed him and Bobby. Basically screwed him over.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if you look at who got him to become president, if it wasn't for the mob and the union, John F. Kennedy does not become president of the United States.
Yeah, see, there you go.
And that's why in '68, Lyndon Baines Johnson didn't win re-election. He lost to Nixon.
Yeah.
So, and then Nixon, his first thing, he wanted to look into the murder of JFK. And that's why they set him up in 72 with the whole Watergate scandal. Yep. Because he didn't need to. He was.
See Watergate. Yeah.
He won by a landslide.
Yeah.
But they set him up. G. Gordon Liddy, those guys set him up. So he would get kicked out of office and make him look like a crook. He wasn't a crook. He was going to investigate the JFK assassination.
Yeah.
Because he knew it was a setup.
Something was up. Yeah.
That's why they did the Watergate. That's why they purposely got caught inside the Watergate building. And G. Gordon Liddy sold him down the river.
Sold him.
What about Jimmy Hoffa? Jimmy Hoffa was just like a working guy, though. Like
Jimmy Hoffa,
union. Ooh,
should
we not talk about Jimmy?
He was no working guy.
I meant Jimmy like Hoffa, he wasn't presidential or anything. That's what I meant. Like
Jimmy Hoffa is in the cement. Of the old Giant Stadium.
Oh, so this is where it goes.
They think so. They think he's in a driveway and somewhere in New Jersey.
Yeah, probably Secaucus, New Jersey. Some guy.
He was just like a union rep, right? That's what he was.
He was a union rep.
Right? He was also a gangster or something, or what?
Very powerful union.
Oh rep. No. The guys in charge of the unions are powerful and they are mobbed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like
shout out to the mob guys, man. We love you.
Shout out, mob,
So what was it last year with the Teamsters? The guy with the Teamsters was throwing a fit. Yeah. He wanted everyone to go on strike and stuff because they want to do robot technology at the docks and stuff. And the dock workers wanted a 100% pay increase. Blah 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 blah. And so they started deep diving on this guy. He's got like 3 yachts.
Yeah,
he's got 2 expensive homes. Yeah, because he's the head. He's the union boss.
Yeah. This is recent stuff. This is
this was last year.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. When the dock workers wanted to go on strike, but they wanted their salaries increased by 100%.
Yeah, they wanted to introduce animated labor.
Right. So some of the docks said, "Screw you, stay on strike," and they brought out robot workers and stuff, and did efficient jobs.
Well, we're going to talk about today. We're going to go into. Flat Earth. We're going to do Flat Earth. Boys.
The mob's involved in that too.
The mob's involved after the beginning. Christopher Columbus, he knows sail around the world.
I'm a little shocked. That my co-host partner here says the moon landing was fake. But we're going to moon
well, I have. Can I?
Yeah, we'll get it.
Okay.
Get the flat Earth first. Gather your thoughts, Art. Gather your thoughts.
I already, I stand strong on that. It's not real. No.
Gather your thoughts.
And the last one we're gonna do is Bigfoot.
Yeah, the man.
Bigfoot's so big right now.
Yeah. I mean, I love his vlogs.
Yeah. Hey, Erica, what's going on? Hey, Tracy, what's happening?
The Bigfoot one, there's some new things that are coming out. So I thought,
some new vlogs.
Not the vlogs. I don't know if Bob's got to see the vlogs yet.
I have not, but okay.
Those vlogs are hilarious.
Yeah, they're doing an animated.
Oh no, I saw that on TikTok.
Yeah.
The IG.
I'm here with my homie Yeti.
Yeah.
We're gonna eat these mushrooms.
Yeah.
Fucked up tonight. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's another thing too, man. Like we were talking about that, how mushrooms changed the course of humanity. Really, at least I believe that way.
Yeah. Well, mushrooms, I think, had a big part of it. A little bit of part of it. I think it opened up our minds and let people really start to think outside of the box. Can you imagine? We can't, but if we're a caveman, our thoughts throughout the day are basically survive and eat.
Yeah.
So find
primal instincts
and survive.
Okay. So all right. So this just hit my head. I know we're gonna go flat Earth.
Sex too.
Yeah, I know flat Earth is coming up. Okay, here's the deal. But could you imagine the first caveman? First thing he does is discover fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's at the fire. So now I got to burn some wood, but I need to burn some shrubbery too to keep the fire going.
There you go.
And he finds like the first marijuana plant.
Some ganja, man.
Yeah, he throws it on there, and the whole cave is full of smoke. I'm like,
they're just all high.
Yeah, they're all high. They're like, damn, pizza would sound good. Hey, let's discover pizza.
I think.
You got the Doors playing in the back.
No. So this was probably the idea, right? So they throw the first marijuana plant on there. They're all high, and then homie goes, "Hey man, look, I'm starving. Let's take this spear." there's a mammoth out that field because I'm really hungry right now.
That's another thing too. That who realized that cooking something. Well, because they were probably eating stuff so raw.
Oh, they were.
Raw, and then
we were talking about this on our show, on the Friday night show, about that poor bastard that was the tester.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, you didn't die.
He didn't die.
That's what's funny too, because like that even happens now, or at least it used to, like back in the day with friend groups. Like someone scores some stuff, and you're like, You try it first, man. We'll see how you do it. See how you feel a little bit, and then we'll all try it.
Dude.
That's the worst for the guy that's tweaking.
Oh man,
to have 4 sober guys looking at him, dude, that's worse.
I had a friend who, I didn't know what was going on as far as what they were doing. They're just like, hey, you want to come up to the room and we'll smoke some stuff or whatever. So anyways, so they started doing their thing, and I was like, oh, whoa, I'm in the wrong room. And I walked out, and then his roommate knew. So she was like, oh, hey, can you clean up the bathroom? And dude, he cleaned the whole house.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was like, and we just sat back on the couch, and I was like laughing. She was like, yeah, I knew what he was like. I hate that he does that, but he cleans the house.
You get those fuckers to clean the house.
But you're right though. It's just like you get a group of people in the first time, something's going on. It's just like the first time I ever did a line, I'm like, man, I don't want to. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then some girls across me going,
you get that, yeah.
Oh my God.
I will suck your dick.
And
give me the straw. Like,
and that's why Adam ate the apple.
Yeah, that's right. He couldn't say no. Bob did cocaine because some girls sucked his.
Yeah, no. I felt bad for the tester. I had to, you had to have someone in the group.
Yeah.
That was, and I could see them too, like the bigger guys grabbing shit and going, and then sitting there. Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, you didn't die. Okay.
And then marking it on the cake.
Marking it on the
There's
cave.
the mushroom that's red with the white dot dome. Don't eat that.
Yeah, don't eat that mushroom, you'll die, but eat this mushroom because we can make truffles out of it and it'll be really expensive.
Yeah. Someday these are going to be worth a lot of money.
Exactly.
We need to start off with the oldest conspiracy theory. Aristotle said in his writings.
Aristotle.
I believe it.
I believe it. I wrote it.
Yeah.
Sailing into the sea would cause sailors to fall off the edge of the earth. Aristotle wrote that.
What did Socrates say?
If I said it, isn't it so?
It is so. Aristotle said it, so it is so.
So you're saying Aristotle believed in flat earth? Is that what you're saying?
He believed in that there was a flat earth because back then...
Yeah, see, I believe that.
They had no tools to see the curvature of the earth. Right. So when they saw the boat actually going across the horizon, it just it fell off.
And if those people...
Especially if that boat never came back.
Right, yeah. They crashed or they actually landed in another piece of land and they just settled there, then that's what I could see people freaking out about that and like, oh yeah, man, when you go out there, you go that way, you don't come back.
Come back. But here we go. Now we're gonna go.
But so that's what trips me out too. I've never talked to a flat earther, but so do they believe Mars is flat? Do they believe the moon is flat? Or is it just Earth?
They believe that stuff's not there.
Oh, like all of it's a lot. Yeah, you're crazy.
Well,
they believe we're in this,
like some kind of Truman Show.
We're in this glass tube.
Oh my God!
And Antarctic is in the middle, and there's this big giant ice wall all around the middle. That is to keep us from going into the middle part of what they believe to be Middle Earth or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, they believe that it's flat. It's a dome. The sun is artificially put there. The moon's artificially put there. And that if you go, you're just gonna fall off the side of the little thingy. I guess I don't know. We're gonna get into that.
Who hurt you?
Exactly.
Why do you go that far?
Let the doctor touch you.
You've never been on a plane and saw the curvature. Okay.
You mean you've never gone to the moon before? Like
exactly.
Haven't you been to the moon?
Come on, man.
Christopher Columbus believed that the Earth was pear-shaped.
A pair. Okay.
Okay.
A pair.
Okay.
Yeah. In his logbooks from the third voyage in 1498, he wrote that the world was not round but pear-shaped. He described it as a round ball with a nipple. Italians and boobs.
Hey, that's all right though. Italians and boobs. I like boobs.
That mountain over there looks like a nipple.
Yeah, exactly.
On one
looks
side,
like your sister's nipple.
Yeah.
which he believed was the highest point and closest to heaven. So he thought that it was pear-shaped, and the tip of it was the closest point to heaven. So I can get that because of religious beliefs back then.
Right.
But
I for it to be perfectly circle, like
it's not. Yeah,
it's not. No, it's a sphere.
It's a sphere.
Yeah.
And it's tilted 23 degrees.
It's a triangle.
Well, it changes. It got bumped, Bob.
Right. All right. But still. But all right. So as a flat earther, okay.
Flat earthers, check in on the chat.
So there's nothing on the bottom, right?
Please don't.
No. Flat earther. So
I want to know, dude. I really want to learn about this.
If you're a flat earther, everything's on the bottom, right? There's nothing on the bottom. It's like a quarter on its side and with a dome over it, right?
Right.
All right. So explain volcanoes in the Marianas Trench.
Yeah.
Explain where the water comes from, man. Like,
we
would just lose a bunch of water.
Yeah. How come the oceans are still full? Wouldn't the water just go over the other side?
That there's like so much that just there's little things you just have to, I understand, question everything, but there's just some stuff where
it's just like the
common sense.
The Marianas Trench is 7 miles deep. Wouldn't the water just go out that hole or what?
It all has to do with gravity and a bunch of scientific stuff. Like we're spinning, so they don't believe the Earth spins. Like the Earth's rotating.
No, it's flat.
They just think it's just flat, just chilling there.
Then explain the four seasons.
And Bob.
Oh, what a night! Wrong four seasons, Bob.
It's a clip from the 70s, which is funny. Bob brings up volcanoes, but again, there is in where is this? In Russia, they have dug a hole.
Okay.
There's a hole. They stopped because they're starting to get worried.
Yeah.
But this hole is 12,262 meters deep, 40,230 feet deep, 7.6 miles down into the ground.
Right.
And the point of them doing this was for science.
They want to see what's truly in the core of the Earth.
Magma and stuff. But the Marianas Trenches in the South Pacific is like 7 miles deep as well.
Yeah, 7 miles deep.
Why don't they just go send something down there instead of digging a hole?
They wanted it was a contest, actually. The U.S. was digging one too, and so was Russia.
But
that's my belief with the moon landing thing. Like the whole when you put a competition in it, dude, there's a chance of someone cheating.
All right, so
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So Russia's dug this hole.
Yeah.
At what elevation did they start? Because the only place Russia is at sea level
go there
is like St. Petersburg, which is now Vladivostok. Everything else is a mountainous area.
Yeah.
So if you're already 4 miles high, and you start digging a hole 7 miles, you're not even close to the core.
You're just scratching it.
And they say strange sounds come from that hole.
Ooh.
They actually call it the Devil's Gate.
Ooh.
Really?
The Devil's Gate.
Strange sound.
Strange. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take my ex-girlfriend there and just
oh my God.
Right? Right?
I hope they got a fence around it.
Yeah. You can't come back.
Hey, you see my girlfriend?
Yeah, she's down there. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like I don't know, I guess, not to be insensitive saying it's crazy, but to just dig to just see what is down there, or it's like I understand exploration, like people going down in the depths of the sea and seeing what's up, but some of that stuff, man, like I don't know, like if you find some crazy Godzilla down in the ocean, well, like, what are you gonna do about that? Like, you're just gonna die anyway.
Well,
like, it's imminent death. Like,
actually, they have found sea creatures. In the Marianas Trenches. The farther you go down, they have no pigment at all, so they're basically clear because light has never touched them. So they have not developed pigment or anything like that. It's crazy because it's so dark
and cold.
That's what I'm saying. You're just like risking your life, spending money to like be like, oh, there's a clear fish.
Yeah, that's basically no, but
some people
say,
say
hey man, save the poor humans that are out on
basically that's what it is. Everything is clear down there because there's no light to develop a pigment.
Yeah, but that's what I mean though. Like you're spending time and effort and money. The money has to go into that to do what? To be like, yeah, okay, so we found this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to find a way to live down there if Earth ever comes to shit. So
yeah, well, they say they should start spending more money researching the ocean than the universe.
Yeah, I agree
because,
with finding out stuff, but I mean to go all the way down there,
right? Well,
I don't know, man.
In 100,000 years from now, the core temperature of the Earth, the surface, is going to go up by about 20 degrees, because the sun is a star and it's always expanding. Eventually, the sun will engulf Venus, Mars, the Earth, and who's next?
Your mama.
My mom. I love my mom, right?
Well, dude,
Mercury. So Mercury, Venus.
Shout out to all the
Venus,
moms,
Mercury,
man. You guys
Earth,
are doing great.
Mars, and
stop teaching your kids that
Jupiter are probably going to be engulfed by the sun before it blows up to become a black star. But
you heard it here first.
No, but that's not going to happen for like a million years, right?
But then that's cool. Jesus is going to come before then, and we're all going to be out of here.
But in 100,000 years from now,
Jesus is going to push it back,
right? But in 100,000 years from now, the core temperature of the Earth is going to raise like between 15 and 20 degrees because of the sun expanding.
You know
now,
that Jesus.
I won't be here.
Yeah.
Huh? You know that Jesus in Peru.
Yeah.
That's going to come to life, and it's just going to raise its hand and pick up the
wow.
Yeah, he's going to tell the sun to
carry it off.
He's going to put it into a little ball again, and
see that's what
he might turn it into wine.
Like
hey, that's how you know Jesus either.
Time.
But look, Jesus is either Italian or he's black, right?
No, he's Italian, dude.
No, he's either Italian or he's black. Come on now. You turn water into wine to keep the party going. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
You know, so if you're confident you got nothing but water, you want black Jesus to turn into wine to keep the party going. Yeah,
there you
go.
Are
you guys ready for modern flat Earth beliefs?
Yeah, I honestly always hear about this stuff, and I've never deep dived into it because
here we go.
Really,
proponents often suggest that the Antarctic is the center of the flat Earth.
Dumb.
The Antarctic forming an ice wall around the edges. So,
man,
your thoughts on that one, Art?
So
everything's just flat and Antarctic. It's right there. It's in the middle. It's just in the middle, just big fucking ice wall around it, which I already seen videos because Red Bull said, fuck you guys. And sent a team out there and they fucking snowboarded it on the top.
There you go.
Through the ice rivers.
Okay.
Dude, there's all these clear ice rivers that run through the Arctic up there on top. And they're just like little tiny rivers about, 3-4 feet wide.
Okay.
The clearest water you have ever seen in your life. And they drank it, which I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have drank it.
I would. It's all natural water.
No,
well, there's like bacteria and stuff.
What the name's saying. Yeah, the bacteria that we put in the air eventually will get into that water. So particles that are floating around.
Nah, I'm drinking the Snowmelt.
Live it, dude. We drank out of hoses growing up.
That's what I said.
Over here, dude. Give it up, Art. Give it up, Art. We drink out of hoses.
I said the same thing. I'm like, dude, if I just got on a ship, got to the Arctic, climbed that fucking ship, got up there and snowboarded, and then they sat on like these little canoe things with parachutes because the wind is fierce over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they just used that wind to get through those little rivers.
Shout out Red Bull, man. You guys there you
go. Red Bull gives you wings.
Right. They're investing money in real shit right there.
That makes me think. When I saw that, I was like, dude, how fucking much money is Red Bull making?
Yeah, dude.
Then I look at work and I see all the cans. And I realize, Red Bull makes a lot of money.
I just go off topic a little bit. I talked to Ed. He wants to bring in a new vending machine and fill it with monsters.
Shout out to Ed, man.
Fill it with monsters and Red Bulls.
Good for Ed. That's
the boss of all bosses. Yeah. But it's funny because we talked about drinking out of the hoses and like having your friend. Did you ever have that friend because you knew the hose water was hot? So you're like, here you go, man, drink first, and then like
Robert McFarland was that guy.
Oh man, shout out Robert. Is he alive?
He's alive. Okay. As far as I know,
shout out Robert McFarland.
Robert McFarland.
So, thank you for being the tester, dude.
If Antarctica is the center,
it's the center, they say.
Explain the Arctic Circle for me.
Yeah, that's what I said too. There's so many things you can say.
I gotta disagree with Aristotle on this one, man. The Earth is not flat, dude.
Aristotle did change his point of view.
Okay, and that's okay.
Yeah, because he talked to Socrates.
Yeah. He actually started measuring stars, and that's when he realized, okay, the Earth is a sphere. It's not flat.
I should know more about that.
It took him a little bit of time to get to figure all that.
Well, yeah,
but he figured it out.
But seriously, if Antarctica is the center, where does the Arctic Circle float and all this other stuff? Where's that at?
Yeah, I said the same thing, and to me it makes absolutely no sense that if it's in the center, then is everything connected? Why are we fucking flying from place to place? Because it almost sounds like they're saying everything is centered with Antarctic, but everything is connected as well.
Yeah.
So like they're basically saying I can walk from California to Europe if I want to.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, no, there's this thing called the Atlantic Ocean right there, dude.
Well, all right. So back in the day when it was Pangea, people could do that, but nobody was live then. But there were ice bridges
Pangea,
back then.
That was the volcano?
No, Pangea was the idea that every continent was connected.
Okay.
And then you had the plates, the continental plates started separating, and that's why everything got separated. Yeah. But back in the day, when they said everything started, the first humans were like in Africa and stuff, and they started migrating. There was a frozen land bridge.
Right.
How people got from Asia into North America and walked down that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but also too, flat Earth. If Antarctica is the center, right? Explain the equator to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there's going to be a lot of questions that go like with all that stuff, and I think maybe it's not, maybe it is shaped like a pear. You never know. Like we could figure some stuff out in 100 years and be like, okay, but for it to ever be flat would just be, I think that's just too ridiculous, man. It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
And again, like I did say, Aristotle did figure it out and did come to the conclusion that the Earth is round because he's seen the moon, he's seen the stars and the planets, he measured everything, and he came to the conclusion that the Earth is round.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is how did we go from that to the Middle Ages where everything was flat? And that's where where did that knowledge, why did that knowledge just
that's why it was the Dark Ages, man. People they took all that stuff and
just
I think
through technology, that's going to happen to us eventually someday.
Well, definitely.
Well, all right, so
they took religion more seriously, and that's what you had to believe. And everyone who said, I think people who spoke against it were kind of like shunned or banished, and this whatever. Like, so people just thought of popes and kings to be the righteous ones, and what their word was gold and all that stuff. And that's what education comes in it's very important.
Well,
that's why I'm like, question everything. I don't mind you being a conspiracy theorist. It's just like don't just think your one way of thinking is the only way, I guess, So.
But I mean, if you look at the Middle Ages, okay, so the only great feat during the Middle Ages was the Crusades.
The Crusades,
right? So as we're coming out of the Middle Ages, now we're in the Renaissance, where everybody's now more open-minded, and that's where we started exploration.
Yeah,
you had Columbus, you had the guy with his name started with an M, Magellan. You had Magellan who navigated South America and came up, and he got killed over in Asia.
Yes, he did.
But you had Captain Cook.
He got 8.
What? Oh, whoa, for real?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you had Captain Cook?
Captain Cook, yeah. Captain Cook got...
Shout out Captain Cook.
Captain Cook got...
Thanks for the chicken and waffles, my guy.
He got Captain Peter Pan.
No, he got...
No.
He got killed in Hawaii, right?
Oh, man.
By cannibals.
Yeah, he got killed in Hawaii because they went after Kamehameha.
They said, "Look, white meat."
You know, hey, F around and find out, as the youngsters like to say.
But Ferdinand,
I could see them. All the natives.
Coming.
Well,
like these guys got bones in their noses and tattoos, man. I'm not going.
At first, what gave the explorers the advantage was they had guns.
Yeah.
But it took a while because they had the old flintlocks and stuff and the balls. So, but still, you could hit a guy from 60 yards.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, wait a minute. Wait, what the hell is this? And the guys with the swords are like, oh, shit, that's some kind of magic right there.
You're a god.
What the hell is this?
So... Wow, that's all it took for people to
gravity
that way.
Is often considered an illusion. It's an illusion.
Oh no, it's not.
Things fall down. What do they mean? What are these things you're like?
You ever fall in your kitchen, buddy?
Yeah, I fell a lot. Gravity's no joke, brother.
That one is wild, man. An illusion that I mean, everyone that sees something fall or have felt. Yeah, you falling out of bed or you trip and fall. Like, explain that sign. Gravity makes total sense to me. I can't even question that one.
Number 3, flat earthers often express sarcasm about space exploration and satellite images, believing them to be fabricated as part of a conspiracy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes,
that's awesome.
That's kind of like, that's kind of where I was at with like what I was talking with the moon landing. I think we've been there, but at that the time, the filming and all that stuff, I feel like that was just a way to be like, oh, we did it first.
Okay, but here, I'm going to pause you. I'm going to pause you. I'm going to go to Bob. Only reason I'm going to Bob is because Bob was a child when this happened.
Okay, yeah.
So what was Bob's thoughts about that before that happened?
It was a big deal because
but did you think in your mind that was even physically possible?
I was 6 years old when they landed on the moon, 1969.
Yeah.
All I know is I was in first grade and they brought in a TV set.
Yeah.
And we got to watch it.
You got to watch it.
It was so cool.
But for even for you at 6 years old, seeing that, did you feel that was even physically possible?
Like,
I know that's hard.
All right, so
at 6 years old, I was believing wrestling was real.
Wait, wrestling's not real. No, John.
It's a conspiracy I have.
John, look, okay. At 6 years old, I'm comprehending that we have technology beyond my imagination that we can.
You didn't see it. You didn't see that technology yet.
I didn't. Well, we watched this. They brought in a TV when it took off.
Prior to that, you didn't.
No, there was no reason because I'm 6. But
they were still writing on chalkboards.
Yeah. We're still writing on chalkboards.
There's still writing on chalkboards.
There's fucking little transistor radio with one.
I didn't even have that, but you're right. There was no computers, no internet.
That's what I mean, man. How did they have the technology?
They did have these huge computers.
Yes, they did.
That nobody knew about because the general public couldn't have access to it.
That's right.
You couldn't go down to Radio Shack yet and buy a home computer.
Yeah.
But to watch it on TV and to see it, it was huge.
Yeah.
And you believed it because then 3 days later, they brought the TV back in the classroom and you watched them splash down and they retrieved them out of the ocean.
Yeah. For me, like when they bring up the satellites, and they say all this nonsense that there's not these satellites up there. I'm like, explain GPS to me. Explain explain to me how it. Okay, I was lucky enough to actually buy one of the first ones that came out, and yes, it did suck.
It was and when did you buy that GPS?
Oh God!
Let's say
in the 90s.
You're telling me and it was a 69.
It was a Garmin.
It was a Garmin.
It was this big. You had to update it. You had to send out for the updates. They would come in the mail.
Yeah.
And eventually they did have the updates on the computer, and you would take that little card out and put it in your reader, then update the maps. But it sucked. It was horrible.
That's what I mean, man.
I mean, there was roads where there weren't roads.
Right. I had paper maps.
Yeah, paper maps.
Yeah, dude. 69. They did not.
But you know what though? I mean, after driving across the state for 10 years, okay, and then you get MapQuest. Never used MapQuest.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have Google Maps. And unless it's somebody's personal address, I'll pull up Google Maps.
Yeah.
But if I want to go to a town, I'm going, because if it's in California, I've been.
Oh, right. I'm the same way.
I can drive
to a specific.
I can drive cross country.
I just drive.
Yeah. I can drive cross country, not use Google Maps because I know where I'm going.
Yeah, that's different. When you're looking up an address, or like for us, for me, the only time I knew I knew I was leaving Turlock, and I knew I was going to Dallas, Texas. I knew how to get to Dallas, Texas. The only time I needed the Dallas map was to actually get to the address that I was going to. So I would always do my side pouch over here just there was like 50, 60 maps in there, and just, places I went, I would go. First thing I would do is stop at the truck stop. I would buy a map,
right?
And a Dallas map, Austin map. And so I needed to know how to get to that address, but getting to Dallas, like Bob is saying, I'm just driving. I don't need to have the thing up going in a quarter of a mile.
Well, see, now
you youngsters don't even understand. These guys are out. These were road pirates.
Yeah, like so
with their maps and shit, looking for the booty.
Stay in the middle lane.
I'm a freshman in high school. We moved to California. I'm 20 years old. My buddy gets stationed at the Groton sub base in Connecticut. Yeah. He goes, I'm driving cross country. I said, I'll go with you. 6 days in a 280Z. So I figured, you know what? Let's stay at my aunt's place in Missouri.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm 20 years old. I know all the roads to take. We pulled up in my aunt's driveway. I did not pull up a map one time.
Yeah.
No,
you don't need it.
Now the next day,
wow,
because I hadn't been driving past Missouri, I could get to St. Louis. Then it's like, okay, we need to take Interstate 64, cut across 64, get to West Virginia. I looked at a map. Okay. After that is like, once you get into the town you're staying at that night, when you wake up, you say, excuse me, sir, how do you get over to the Colonial Parkway? We want to go to Jamestown. Oh, yeah, take this road, you'll be there.
So lesson here is talk to the locals.
Talk to the locals, because they'll tell me, when I was a truck driver.
I'm trying to get some good barbecue. Where do you go?
So one day, I come to work, somebody called in sick, and my boss goes, you're going to Chowchilla, run the Chowchilla route today. I go, I've been through Chowchilla, but I've never been into Chowchilla.
Yeah.
So he gives me a map, and I know where the first stop is. I roll up to the first stop, unload. I say, hey, how do you get to Quality Liquors? Oh, yeah, go down here 99 still, get off the first exit, 2 blocks, Quality Liquors there. I got to Quality Liquors, unload. I said, hey, how do I get to Jiffy Mart? Jiffy Mart's 3 blocks up on your left. Get to Jiffy Mart. Everybody knows where the competition is.
Yeah.
So they'll tell you how to get to your next stop.
There you go.
Yeah.
Scientific evidence for a round Earth.
Yes.
This is what you're going to fight back with.
Okay.
Flat earther comes up to you and he starts spewing that it's flat and the Arctic's in the middle and all this other stuff. The lunar eclipse, the Earth's shadow on the moon. During the lunar eclipse is always round.
Yeah.
It's round.
There you go.
Yeah, it's round.
Yeah.
Which can only be cast by a speared object. That's it.
Yeah, and
it's not a frisbee.
Shit, man, just go outside once in a while. Like, like you'll be like, hey, the moon was over there 2 weeks ago and now it's over here.
Right.
That, like, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess if you think that someone's putting the moon wherever the hell they want to, that looked really crazy on the screen. But anyways, like, I guess if you're at that point, but I figured that out myself, like, or seen it myself, like, I used to always see the moon over here. Now it's like behind me.
Well, yeah. See
why is that? When I was working,
the moon is on a 28-day cycle fucking with you. Right. So
I must have been high at work or something.
So the moon is always full.
Yeah.
It's where it positions itself every 28 days going around the Earth is why we see a quarter, why we see a half, why we see no moon because it's fully blocked out.
Yeah.
And why we see a full moon. It's because we get full vision with nothing in the way. But the moon evolves around the Earth as the Earth is evolving around the sun. But the moon is a 28-day cycle.
Yeah.
Every 28 days we have a new moon. So a blue moon is 2 full moons in a month.
Great.
It's a good beer.
Great
beer. Blue moon's
with an orange wedge.
With an orange in it, exactly.
This is the one that was throwing off.
Yeah, I want a blue summertime and blue moons really hit,
Absolutely. this is what used to throw off ancient people is because the ship would always disappear when it over the horizon. The ship, ship sails away. It appears to sink, fall first below the horizon due to the Earth's
flat Earth falling off. Yeah,
curvature. Yeah,
curvature. Yeah.
So, man. I think that's why it's odd to me that people nowadays. I understand before, totally get it, bro.
Right.
I can get how they would get scared.
Back in the old days, before Christ walked the earth. Yeah, okay. Yeah. People leave, they don't come back. Okay, it's flat.
Christ, yeah, no, it had to be absolutely scary, and then too, like I've read studies, like even back to the caveman time, the people that came out of Africa, again, those people barely went more than a mile away from where they lived.
Sure,
so that went. For a long period of time, a lot of people weren't exploring. They're like, "This is my fucking town. And, this is where I live. This is where I'm going to die."
There's a lot of people at Turlock and Modesto.
I was going to say, dude. Well, no, dude, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say, growing up in LA, there were kids that I grew up with that never left their 5-6 blocks. Yeah. Well, they didn't know. They didn't have means to go anywhere.
There are people in LA that have never seen the fucking ocean. And it's a car drive away.
Yeah. There were people in LA, I don't know what year this was, but there was a big blackout, and they were getting the police were getting a bunch of phone calls because people never seen the Milky Way. And they thought something was going on in the sky.
Dude, look,
something like that. I remember reading. I don't know. That could have been fake news. I don't know. I read it somewhere though.
The beauty part about camping up when we would go to Long Barn and stuff during hunting season, right? Is when there was no moon, right? Because it's on a different part of the world. We couldn't see the moon, or the moon came up really late, and there's no lights, and you see the whole Milky Way. You're like, son of a.
I'm growing up in LA and then coming out here and like seeing the difference of like just stars and being able to see the sky with no light pollution. And then I went to Yosemite a while back, maybe like 7-10 years ago. Yeah. And I got up in the middle of the night to go pee, and I was like, whoa. Yeah, now that's stars.
Yes,
man.
Exactly.
I was like, I didn't know that. That shit looked.
You used a photograph term there. The noise pollution from light.
Light pollution.
Use that a lot. That's why a lot of people will go up to Yosemite or up in the mountains to do time lapse photography of the stars, because there's no distortion from any other light.
Right.
Dude, that looked like, I was amazed, man. People go out to Yosemite and check that out if you have never seen it.
Shout out to Yosemite.
Yes, I love Yosemite.
I've even gone we've had trips from LA to Vegas, and I remember always looking up at the stars and like always being amazed because you don't really see that. But
if you're in the middle of crazy. But if you're in the middle of the desert with no lights, same thing. You look up and it's like you see every star.
But it still wasn't as bright as and visual
and higher elevations. When you're at the higher elevations and there's no light distortion whatsoever from city signs, homes, cars, all that nonsense, and you just got the natural light of nature. It's a whole different thing.
Especially if there's no cars on in the campground, there's no lights.
No, like I said, it was 3 a.m. and this wasn't even no one was camping around this. My brother got a spot that was like, we're out here. We have to get in the car and drive to the nearest bathroom if you want to use that bathroom, or else, for the guys, we just hit the bush.
Yeah.
But he picked a beautiful spot, man. Like I said, to just get up and see that. It was amazing. I've never seen the sky like that ever again. Before or ever again. Like, I'm amazed, dude.
If you come here later in a couple of nights when Bob's had a few drinks, he'll show you the biggest white moon.
Nah, I'm good.
I was just gonna say, man. I know. When I was like,
Mom ain't giving you.
When I was in my late teens and in my 20s and 30s, I loved going out hitting the bush. Because the bush was always fun.
Yeah. I love hitting the bush even now.
There you go, Mrs. Art. Shout out,
Mrs. Prime, man. Thank you.
Here's the one that always comes up, and that's navigation and flight patterns. They always use this one to
flat earthers,
and they don't seem to understand that there's a reason why these flight patterns are the way they are because of the way the Earth is shaped.
Right.
So one of the greatest images I've seen ever was it was about World War II and when they attacked Pearl Harbor, and it shows them, why they think flat earthers think they actually flew across the United States and came in to Hawaii and bombed them. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, so we didn't see all those fucking planes just flying over Iowa. Nobody saw it.
Nobody figured drop the call. Hey, there's about 250 Japanese planes.
You can't send one drone out to New Jersey without them shooting that shit down.
Well, also, too, I mean, so if you're talking to flat earthers, if you're going from San Francisco to Japan, okay, you're flying up to Washington, across Alaska, and coming down because it's shorter than flying from straight across from San Francisco to Japan, because you're going against the
current and
1/3 above the equator, where the Earth is still expanding, but the shorter one is to go up to where the Earth is real small and come down. That's how they fly.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts.
I didn't know that. That's
just
cool.
The difference between a few miles makes when you're flying.
Yeah,
you can fly out of now the distance between New York City JFK Airport and Canada, the airport in Canada. A lot of people will go to Canada to fly to Italy because it's 2 hours faster if you go into Canada and fly from Canada to Italy.
There you go. Shit, that's cool.
Because you're flying over Greenland and coming down.
The current, the air currents. So they're
that's what I was thinking too. Like, if it's like the sea, like the ocean, like there's certain things that just help you. And then like you said, with 2 hours, think about it with driving, that extra 2 hours of gas. That's a big difference, man. And I would imagine the gas and
the airlines and and the baggage thing.
Okay.
I'm going with that meme. If you could put a fucking spaceship on the top of a fucking plane and you're worried about my 62-pound bag.
Oh, I see what you mean there. I was like, where is he going?
Take the space shuttle lands on top of the fucking plane.
Yeah.
And that plane brings the space shuttle back down to the ground. Okay. And you're telling my bag that's 5 pounds too heavy. Too much.
Well, John, if everyone's bag was 5 pounds too heavy.
No, all right. So if we're gonna,
do you have any idea if we're space shuttle weighs?
If we're gonna go on that tangent, fucking first class guys get to bring their whole luggage with them and put them in the overheads.
Oh, damn!
If you're in economy and you bring a backpack, hey, you gotta throw that under your seat because there's no room overhead. I gotta check in my bag and it's like $35.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or I love this one. Oh, you know what? I know you paid for a ticket, but we're full, so we're gonna have to check your bag. No, fucker, you're not checking my bag. There's a reason. I've learned this since I've been a little kid because my parents always did it. Everything that is important goes with you.
Right.
Yeah.
When
definitely.
You're going on that plane, your carry-on has everything, your passports, and
your backpack.
Backpack, at least a couple clean pairs of underwear, some clothes that you're just in case
you lose your bag, man, you're not screwed.
Because if you go to Rome, for instance, I'm just going to say Rome, you got no clothes, you're fucked.
Oh yeah,
shit ain't cheap. And
I was saying, dude, I'd be screwed on. They don't have clothes that fit me on.
Well,
for sure.
What I did though, when I went to my last flight that I took, I checked my bag, but I had my backpack with my stuff in it. So the first flight from San Francisco to Chicago, they're like, okay, there's not going to be enough room in the overhead because I was in economy. I was the last one to get boarded, right? And they're like, if you want to check your bags now, we'll let you get in line now.
Yeah.
It's a backpack. I took my wallet out, put it in my pocket. All I had was underwear, a pair of pants, a shirt and stuff. But I'm going to Missouri, so I got relatives. Yeah. And plus my bag's going to be there anyway. So I'm like, okay, I'll give my backpack. Oh, sir, go ahead, take your seat. And it's so cool to be the first person to walk way to the back of the plane with nobody in front of you.
Yeah.
And grab your seat so nobody's crawling over you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I wouldn't know anything about that.
For you, we're gonna jump into the moon landing, and I already know Art's one of the,
Art says it's fake.
Art says it's fake.
At that time, man. At that time, I think it was fake. I'm sure we've been. I'm 100% sure we've been in the moon.
And I'll tell you why it wasn't fake. Hollywood would not have made something that cheesy back then.
Although, okay, hold on, Art, hold on.
I've seen
in the mid 70s. They made a movie with O.J. Simpson, James Brolin, and there was another actor where they hid these guys out for 7 days in the desert, and they filmed that they landed on the moon.
Yeah.
So to go with a conspiracy, right? So he escaped out of this camp, and they came out and they showed, hey, it's all fake. It's not really real. But O.J. Simpson was an astronaut. Okay. But my only point is watching it as a small kid.
Yeah.
So he's about to land on the moon and step out.
Yeah.
Okay. How close was the lunar module still in space on the moon? How close was it? Because he's the guy that took the picture of
Neil
Armstrong stepping on the moon.
Right.
Giant step for man, giant for mankind, whatever. Someone had to film that.
Yeah, some dudes there like this.
Like, how close was
they didn't have camcorders, dude. Some dude was like this.
They did have camcorders because my dad brought home.
Yeah, they did have camcorders.
My dad had a camcorder in Vietnam. He brought home movies in Vietnam.
Technically, the guy that was already down and who put his first step on was the first guy.
But they just gave it
to make it to where it was, a significant moment. They couldn't have done that without having someone already.
Yes, somebody had to film.
Neil Armstrong isn't the first man to step.
Is the guy who stepped out with the camera.
With the cameras,
because I want to know how close the lunar module was.
Yeah.
How powerful the camera was, because he had to shoot it out a window.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's just a little.
All right, here we go. Estimating on the percentage of people who believe the moon landing was fake. It varies depending on the survey and the location, but generally, in the United States,
70%.
You fall in this fucking category.
Yeah, hell yeah.
In the United States, Paul often showed that between 5 and 10%.
5 and 10 only? Damn.
The public believes that Apollo moon landing was fake.
Wow.
5 to 10%.
Yeah, see, I think it's real because I watched it on TV in first grade.
Yeah.
I think your generation is going to be more so
right.
Fuck America.
That
was the thing.
It
was a great achievement for us, but it was still.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah,
because at that point in time,
Russia was trying to. It was a race, right?
Russia was the first country to have a spaceship.
And then I thought they had the space. Whatchamacallit, when they stay in space, but not actually.
That was later, but Sputnik. Yes, Sputnik went up first.
Yeah,
and then the guy Sputnik, all right, so he goes up. He does 10 minutes in space, and then he comes back down. He goes. Yeah, I got up there, opened the door, and there's no heaven up there, man. There's nothing up there.
Yeah, there's nothing up there.
And then America came up there, and we were like, we put a flag on the moon to claim it. Like,
if you want to,
telling you, man, that there's just some stuff.
That's right there. But no, hold on, Bob. That just shows you how arrogant we are.
Absolutely.
I was surprised he wasn't shooting guns. Like, fuck yeah, baby. No shirt on that says USA.
Got a tattoo? No, but it's cold up there.
Fucking eagle flies out of the fucking space.
3 guys with USA.
Yeah.
No clothes, but the helmet still.
Well, no, number one, he would freeze to death because it's like 200 degrees below zero.
Well, it's always sunny in California.
That's right. But if you want to watch,
where they filmed it.
If you want to watch 2 good movies about the space race, okay, All the Right Stuff, which came out in the 80s, great movie about the space. And then they had one, Hidden Figures, with the black lady.
Oh yeah. I watched that one. Yeah.
So that was the race to get into space, and those 2 movies pretty much explain how and why we did it. But like I said, being a kid in 1969, they
amazing.
Every room in school got a TV wheel, so we could watch.
2019 survey indicated that 5% of U.S. represent strongly believed the moon landing was fake, while 61% strongly disbelieved it.
That doesn't make sense. 61 and 5. That's only 66% of people.
No, that's 60. Yeah, but so 33% don't have an opinion.
I got you.
They're homeless. They didn't get a chance. There's a lot of homeless back in.
No, they didn't have an opinion.
The 33% were flat earthers that don't believe in the moon. There is no moon, sir.
But come on now. Okay. Optimus Prime and Megatron told us.
Yeah, where are they hanging out at?
Dark side of the moon. All right, the Decepticons got there first. The Americans discovered it.
First of all, right. Go ask Shia LaBeouf and he'll tell you the truth, man.
There's crazy.
Now, that was Mark Wahlberg.
That was Mark Wahlberg.
There's one theory that I'm starting to kind of buy.
There you go.
And that is the moon was placed there by somebody. Yeah, the moon.
Well,
yeah,
that's
no. All right,
so the moon doesn't fit the mathematical equation of the rest of the universe the way it is lined up.
Yes,
the moon is out.
But doesn't every
planet in our solar system they have moons?
They have moons.
So the moon's function right now, right? The moon's function controls tides, which is gravity.
Yep.
Gravity of the oceans moving back and forth. Yeah. All right.
But
and there's
had to be placed at that specific spot.
Well, yeah, but because
that's just how things work, dude. Why do men have nipples?
Yeah, no, but look, it was placed at that specific spot.
That's next week's show, Bob.
Yeah. It was placed at that spot because of how the Earth was formed. Yeah. And I'm thinking the only way the Earth could survive is the moon to be in that perfect spot.
If the moon is not there, we're not here.
Yeah, we're not here because it changes everything.
It changes everything. So that's why some people believe the theory that the moon is man-made or alien-made and placed there because it does not fit the math that each planet, which goes all the way back to Aristotle. Aristotle was able to measure the distance between the sun, the Earth, the moon, everything lines up to a certain degree in precision, except for the moon. The moon does not make sense where it's at and why it's there and how it was even made. So,
Big Bang says like things just kind of.
Yeah, right? That's the thing. There's some theories that say the moon is hollow. That it's a hollow thing because it has a hum when you hit it. So when things hit the moon, we actually hear a hollow sound coming back to Earth. So that's the theory that the moon is maybe hollow.
Well, I've never heard that.
I've never heard that either.
That's wild.
Crazy. That's crazy because they say that even back when they landed in there the first time, there was a hollow sound every time they would do things on the moon, when banging or putting stuff in and hitting the moon, they would get this.
So what you're telling me is that Star Wars is real.
Yeah, but but John,
that's no moon.
but with no atmosphere on the moon,
there's no atmosphere.
There's no sound.
There's no sound.
So how do they know it's hollow?
There's a humming sound that comes from the moon. NASA even agrees, as they've made studies on that there's some sort of humming sound that comes from the moon anytime an asteroid or a meteor hits it.
Fucking Decepticons.
Yeah. I'm going with the arts theory. It's the Death Star.
It's a Death Star, man.
It's Death Star.
Hey, don't fuck with America, or else we're gonna shoot the Death Star out there.
We got a Ray.
Yeah, dude.
No,
watch out, man.
Dude.
Reagan Star Wars, dude.
Dude, better watch the fuck out.
Dude. Okay. just to prove if the moon is hollow or anything like that.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
I would love to see like a lowrider version of the space shuttle go up there with the homies from the neighborhood in LA, East LA.
Yeah.
They would like tag that shit.
What the fuck? I don't sponsor this or whatever.
I thought Bob was gonna say they were gonna cut a hole in it from subwoofer.
No, they would tag that shit. Viva Loca.
My vida loca. Hell yeah.
Some surveys suggest that around 10% of Americans agree with the conspiracy claims that NASA faked the moon landing. In the UK, in 2012 poll found that 12%, of course, they're going to be a little higher. They don't like the fact that we got there first.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if there just wasn't the only part that in me that believes in the whole conspiracy of it possibly being filmed and fake or whatever was just because of the whole the race situation. If there wasn't no race, if it wasn't like, these guys are trying to get there and we're trying to get there first.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't even believe it.
Hold on. Yeah. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
A recent study indicated that 20% of Italians believe the moon landing was a hoax.
Yeah,
it was a hoax.
Forget about it.
You know why? There was no guy named Tony.
Yeah,
Giuseppe.
That moon's fucking fugazi.
Yeah. they had to have at least one Italian guy on the mission. It would have been okay.
Yeah. See, there you go. See, you guys fucked up, NASA.
Well, no. So
wait. The last one in Russia. I want your opinion. What do you think the percentage of people in Russia find that is?
98%.
I'm going 2% saying.
Oh, what they believe it's real or fake?
It's fake.
I'd say 98% of them think
it's saying, fake. 90% because that's what the government tells them to think.
In Russia,
it's like 88 or something.
My brain just kicked in with 57%. Believe that the moon landing was a hoax.
You know why? Because the Russian government told them it was. Yeah, the Americans couldn't have done that.
You checked that box.
Yeah, you checked that box. Well, so here's the deal. Okay, so why did we stop going? Because we got there and discovered there's nothing there for anybody.
Yeah.
And then how come in this day and age of technology and everything else, only Bezos and Elon Musk want to keep sending spaceships up to space? How come no other country wants to go up there and look around?
Because there's no hope.
There isn't,
this Mars thing to me. I get it. I understand why we're doing what we're doing because we're always looking for the next thing. And I understand that. I understand that humanity wants to continue to evolve and knowing that eventually Earth will not be inhabitable.
Right. Then that's the whole deal is we're going to have to find a way off this rock.
Right.
I'll be dead. Yeah. But that's fine.
Yeah. So I get that part, but for me, I almost feel like this is it. This is what we get. I don't think.
Yeah, dude,
I honestly don't think.
I know you guys believe in dinosaurs too, and they had their time.
Right.
And then that's it, dude. Like we're gonna have our time, and we will be the next dinosaurs. We lived on this earth. We fucked it up, or
no, it's not that. It's not that we fucked it up. We kept evolving it to as far as we could go.
Yeah,
right.
There you go.
But we don't have a choice in Earth not being here or not because science tells us that the sun is a star. Eventually, it's going to get bigger and blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's going to engulf us. Right. But I think that we are naive to think there's not another place out there. They're the same type of place for us to be able to live.
I think
the multiverse.
I believe that too, Bob. But then when you start keying in all the factors of why we exist and how everything had to be so perfect lined up, I don't think that's possible. I think mathematics proved that that's impossible for us that to happen.
For another place out there for
what do they call them? I forget what they're called, but they're the guys that are the math geeks. The odds you have a better chance of winning the lottery than actually finding another place on the universe
that's finding another place. Like it could still exist, we just can't find it.
It could be there, but it could be in another galaxy.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. It's in another galaxy.
Unattainable.
It's not in it's not in our solar system. It could be in another galaxy. Because you got to be pretty naive to think that back in the day there wasn't an alien race that came down here. Because we're throwing rocks at our opponents. We're throwing spears. Yeah. All of a sudden, we go from throwing rocks and spears to we got geometry and calculus, and we're building pyramids that are symmetrically perfect.
Yeah.
Okay? How does that happen when we're throwing rocks and spears at people?
Yeah, mushrooms, baby.
Magic mushrooms.
Magic mushrooms.
Yeah. Some guy just came up with calculus because he was stoned and had mushrooms.
So they had to have that Elon Musk in Egyptian times too. There was just someone who thought out the box and was just like, let's do this.
Well, you had fire. And I think fire is a key component in our evolution. I think without fire, I think none of the other things happen. I think not having the fire and understanding that we can eat meat and cook it, and get the proteins that we needed from those meats to make our brains become bigger.
And we wouldn't have survived.
We wouldn't have. We would have survived, but
people would have been dying, and
we'd still be in caves. Yeah,
I think people would have just
maybe
All right, so,
I mean, look at the stuff that damn near took out
and
the populace before, like the Black Plague and all that stuff. Like we needed.
I think you're right too. I think as we're fire and we're eating proteins and we're starting to eat other things that are around us, I think our brains start to develop. And I think you're right. I think there were some people that were like Elon Musk, that were like Stephen Hawking, that were just highly intelligent individuals.
Thought outside the box. That's all they had.
Well, yeah, because you had Michelangelo, you had all those guys. I know, but I mean, I'm getting deep right now.
I think the cave guy goes, you know what?
No. I must be drinking because now I'm getting deep. All right.
All right, there you go. Yeah.
But you realize, so the guys who invented fire.
By the way, this is an uneducated
experience.
I didn't even graduate high school, so don't listen to me.
So you have the guys who invented fire, and you're right, eating the meat,
protein,
cooking the meat, get the protein. How that evolved to like Native Americans were doing that way before the white man got here.
Yeah.
How did they get that? Because they had that frozen land bridge where they walked across, and when the first like white man explorer got here, Cortez, Ponce de Leon, Leif Erikson, right? When they got here,
I thought when he said Leif, I
left Leif Garrett.
Yeah,
so I was
Leif Erikson. Okay,
Bob's Rolodex to get stuck.
Leif Erikson. Okay, but it's just like the Native Americans already had before anybody got here. They were doing the fire and hunting the deer and the buffalo and everything else. Right.
And that's all. I think that's all trial and error and things that you pass on and on in life. And I think because there were certain things that Europeans or Spaniards saw, like they didn't have erect buildings and streets and all that stuff. They considered them savages, but they were just living a different form of life. When you call someone a savage, you implement, whenever you label anybody anything else, whatever that label is, it's just automatic. You think of certain things. And
well, all right, so getting back to that word savage. Okay. So Columbus gets here, he's in the Caribbean. They're savages because they're eating people or killing this, doing
they're
this.
not wearing clothes,
they're not wearing
socks and shit.
But if you look,
did you see those socks back in the day? They used to talk about sock check, bro. Like those are cholos back in the day with them fucking long ass socks.
But if you think about it, okay, how they acted, what they call these people and how they acted, right? They're your savages because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back and look in time, over the course of time, okay? Alexander the Great could have been labeled a savage because how he killed people and wanted to rule the world.
Sociopath. Any
Napoleon Bonaparte.
And that was Alexander the Great was a student of Aristotle.
History. I mean,
in ancient times,
could have been
they're all sociopaths,
right? Sociopath. Mm-hmm. But they could also be labeled savages because of their actions.
No, people were labeling the natives and stuff savages because they felt like they just weren't like how they were, wearing these clothes, having these ideals of a religion. But like, I mean, if I think about it now, I'm like, that's funny to think. If you look at, some hippie or somebody who just lives off the land and like, I would have never called that someone a savage.
No,
right? Like, I'm like, okay, so you want to not wear clothes, you want to wear a little loincloth, and you want to, just eat what's off the land. Like, why are you calling them a savage?
Exactly. If you want to see a great movie, okay, it's not well known, but it's called Last of the Dogmen.
Last of
the Dogmen. Basically, what it is like 1990s movie in Colorado. There's this little kid. They find this little kid, and he's a Native American Indian. Yeah. So they track him back up to the mountains where nobody ever goes, and there's a community of Native Americans who don't know what progress is.
Okay.
They're still living in the 1700s.
Yeah.
They don't know nothing about going into town or anything like that. So this guy and this woman anthropologist who's a history teacher go up there and live with them.
Yeah.
And just to see how the natives are still doing the old style ways.
Yeah.
They don't know what progress is yet.
Yeah.
And and they're talking. And then my favorite part of the movie is they're talking because she knows the language because she's a history teacher and studied it. They're talking about what's this big silver bird with a huge tail.
Oh shit.
And she's like, I gotta explain an airplane to him.
Yeah.
But she stays to live amongst them because they're still doing the old style ways of the 1700 Native Americans, and they're trying to hide them from the public now.
Yeah.
So the white guy who has to go distract the sheriff in the town from finding these people while she helps him move and stuff. It's a great movie though, but it just those people would be called savages, how they're living.
Yeah, that's, and so that gives people already a certain they judge people in a certain way because you use that word, and that's all part of a part of all of it, man.
You know what the best part about this conversation is?
What
we're still talking about is the moon landing fake.
Oh yeah.
Let's get back to it here.
It's fake, man. At that time,
I saw it on TV as a first grader. It's real.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Debunk conspiracy theories. Wait. Did we have to go to? Did we even get to that first? Oh, we haven't. Dude, I was only up to number 1. All right, guys, fucking chill out, man. UK. We did that one. We did Russia. Okay, here we go. These are your arguments against moon landing debunking conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Absence of stars in photos. This is due to the camera exposure settings. I know this one. Optimized for the brighter lit lunar surface.
Oh, so you're saying it was because of the way they had to film it? That's why there was
because of the lighting, you don't see that as stars.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because
that's science, bitch.
Science, bitch. There we go. Okay, the flag. Here we go. The flag flopping.
Oh yeah, there you go.
All right. The flag appears to be flapping in some photos because of the horizon rod. Horizontal rod.
Horizontal rod.
Yeah, used to keep it unfluttered, not wind. What?
There's no
wind on the moon.
Right, but there's also no gravity.
There's no gravity.
That's why the flag is up.
Yeah. I thought they just starched the shit out of it and ironed it before they
no, there's no gravity. Here. Let me get my easy on. You don't know nothing about easy on starch. Easy on.
They brought a no.
No. Can you iron this for me before I go to the moon?
You remember easy on starch, though, right?
See, that was I did hear about that thing too, and it wouldn't.
Yeah, there's no gravity, so everything goes up. Yeah,
it goes.
That's why that they had to wear weighted boots and stuff.
Shadow anomalies. Shadows on the moon are complex due to multiple lighting sources: sun, earth, lunar surface, reflections, and uneven terrain.
Yes.
Well, there would be.
Yeah, the sun and the earth. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, wait. If the earth is flat, there couldn't be any lighting, right?
Don't do that. I'm drinking right now. Don't.
Dude, you honestly made me trip out because I thought the moon or the earth being flat was like a new thing. I didn't think Aristotle thought that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, then Aristotle later on.
Yeah.
He started measuring the stars and the planets and realized that the way the distances between them and the way they kept moving was the fact that the earth was round.
So in the realm of our timeline, was it Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, or was it Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, or was Socrates first? Or I think Socrates was after Plato. Socrates. I'm sorry, Socrates.
Okay, I was like, who the fuck is Socrates?
Come on, man. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Socrates.
I know, but my mind was like, who the fuck is Socrates?
Socrates.
Did I read his stuff? No, I don't.
Socrates.
I don't remember reading his stuff. So him and it's actually two guys. Him and another guy actually came up with the theory. Yes, the Earth is round.
Right.
Which and get back to that, like Bob was talking about, about how we all came from Africa, and then we that theory is actually being thrown out the window now.
Fuck.
So no, we still had a group that came out of there, but we also had groups that came out of other places. So
Giant Land Bridge. Anyway, we were talking about the lighting on the moon.
The lighting on the moon. So yes, the reason that is because this is a complex. You got the sun, you got the earth, you got lunar surfaces, reflections coming from everywhere. So yes, that's why you got what you got. Authentic of moon rock. They were saying the moon rock lunar shapes have been independently verified as origins from the moon by scientists worldwide with unique composition and characteristics not found on Earth. So they were even saying that the moon rocks that they brought back were fake.
See that.
Well, okay, so look. I think that the moon rocks. Okay, if you go up to Modoc County, there's lava fields.
Yeah,
and it's the black basalt rocks or not, it's cobalt, I think.
Cobalt,
yeah. But those have always been called moon rocks because you got holes in them and things like that.
Yeah.
Now, I've never seen a moon rock, so I don't know what the composition is, but I'm guessing it's pretty much going to be the same composition as rocks you see on Earth.
I've seen some moon rocks.
No.
Those things
there's
fuck
difference.
me up.
Yeah,
Well, what kind of minerals are they?
I will look it up for you right now.
Well, what kind of minerals? I mean, what kind
Let's
of...
do it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Moon rocks consist of what
Minerals.
Minerals, actually. It's copper, sulfur, also known as blue rocks, and some contents, other blue minerals, and like so.
Yeah,
Also,
man.
See, we have all those components here on Earth.
Yeah.
Moon rocks. What did you want to know? I forgot.
Minerals.
Okay, moon rocks contain what minerals? There we go. Okay, moon rocks are primarily composed of 4 minerals. See, we don't have some of these.
Yeah, we do. We have all those: feldspar, pyroxene, olivine.
We have to have them in order for them to label it. Also, they would say, we don't know what the fuck this is.
Other minerals like phosphate.
Olivine basically is a greener version of a metamorphic rock.
You're going to see, I forgot who was, like, all the stuff that's like out on Earth, like even us humans are kind of like, we have the same characteristics, like chemicals in us. I think you'll find that in space as well, because if we all came from the same,
if there was a Big Bang,
so if you go to Mars, you're gonna be able to label some
We're all
shit.
stars. We're stars.
Yeah, hell yeah, rock stars, baby.
I want to be a rock star, baby. No, but seriously, if there was a Big Bang and there was,
we technically come from stars.
Yeah.
But basically,
you're saying we have carbon
on the Big Bang. If you had this big thing where it was one huge thing, and then the Big Bang, everything blew up and went into space, we would have the same minerals as they do on the moon.
Right, exactly.
On olivine, there are rocks on Earth called olivine.
Yeah. Well, there's a theory.
You're a rock guy, Bob.
I studied geology in college. Yeah.
That's what's up. Hell yeah, dude.
Geology and meteorology.
Yeah,
this is the man right here, bro. Ask him anything.
And this is the one thing that I get. I don't want to say I get upset by it, but bringing materials from outer space, and the other thing that bothers me is them digging these holes in the Arctic and pulling these ice sleeves out that haven't seen light of day for millions of years, and finding bacteria that are in there. For me, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, because
for me, it's just like, okay, how are and again, this comes down to trusting our governments. How are they going to use those parasites? What are those parasites going to be used for? Are they going to be used for good? Are they going to be used for bad?
They're never used for good.
So now some of these parasites have actually come back to life once they've gotten some heat on them, and they've come back to life. Now, that parasite hasn't existed on Earth in millions of years.
But it did exist before. Yeah. And we got through it.
It's possible that it could have been frozen in time, and that one parasite.
So what Johnny's saying is, go get vaccinated,
and our chemistry to actually fight that parasite off. So there's a good possibility that there are some parasites that are in that ice that we may have never
even seen,
because it's been under ice for millions and millions of years.
It's been under ice for millions of years. So we don't know how our body and our chemical chemistry is going to handle that parasite.
Even before like man walked Earth.
See that, and then now, okay, I'm going to say the word YouTube COVID, and that's a perfect example of something getting out there and being used as a weapon. Yeah. And for me, that scares the shit out of me, and especially when you just had 2 weeks ago, you had 2 Chinese people that got on a plane that brought a parasite here to the U.S. to kill our crops.
Right. Oh, wow.
And I didn't hear about that. That parasite would have gotten in our crops and our corn. It would have devastated our food supply.
COVID is a man-made situation that was geared to take out it took out 1% of the U.S. population.
Yeah, it did what it was supposed to do. That was get rid of all the people on Social Security.
But no. But it also, but the vaccine took out healthy people.
Hold on, Bob. I have to make a disclaimer. I do. We have to be careful on COVID.
Yeah.
COVID, and we are not doctors. We were just making suggestions here. So
that's wild.
Well,
man,
my sister
Bob Sharp did study a little bit of rock in college.
No, I studied geology and I studied meteorology in college. Yeah. But my sister and her husband, who were in bad health, they were diabetics. They were overweight. They were in poor health. They both died of COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, they did. And am I bitter about it? Yeah, because it was a man-made. Yeah. It was a man-made virus made from the Wuhan lab. Oh, you can't say that. There's a picture in 2015 of Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Gates touring the Wuhan lab where the virus got escaped from. Okay. So yeah, it was a man-made virus to kill part of the population. And basically, what's the one thing that's always kept the population under control?
Disease.
It
has to be the
think out of the box.
Government?
No.
outside the box.
Yeah. What's the one thing that has always been part of population control?
Well,
that you don't see now.
Viruses, diseases.
That you don't see now. This is what we don't see.
Time
World wars.
Yes.
We haven't had a great world war since Vietnam.
Oh yeah, so everything now.
So who dies in wars? Men.
Men do, yeah.
Men, young men who can't come home and populate the earth.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you're not having that, the earth is getting repopulated at astronomical numbers because there's no young men dying in the last 200 years. Yeah. Because there's always been a big war.
We're at 8 billion people, 8 billion plus people.
That's 8 billion plus. Yeah, the world. Yeah. So basically, they had to come up with something because you're never going to see a war like that again until China rolls up their sleeves and then in the U.S. rolls up their sleeves and says, fuck it.
They don't know how to get, or North Korea don't know how to launch a boat. So,
So if there's ever going to be another world war to keep population control down, it's going to be China's got to mix it up with the U.S. Yeah. And India's going to help us and Russia's going to help China. And that's going to keep population control down.
Dead by then. All right,
Me
let's
too.
get back to impossible technology. Claims that the technology did not exist to achieve the moon landings are false, which is true. The thing is this generation doesn't like when
they're saying
me and Bob have seen rooms that held computers.
Yeah.
This is what you remember. This is what your generation. Yeah, this is the laptop.
Yeah.
Well, the power that this laptop had back in the 50s would have taken like 3 of these houses.
Yeah. No, your whole house.
They didn't have the technology to be able to film, or what do you mean?
No. So what he's saying is, as technology back in the day, this laptop, right? If you were in 1960, the power of this laptop would have occupied John's whole. You would had equipment, John's whole house,
right,
the neighbor's house, and the house next door.
Yeah.
Now with technology, you have just a little laptop.
But so what does that mean? Does that mean being that you didn't?
They assumed that the technology wasn't there to make this happen, but it was there.
Oh, but it was there. Oh, gotcha.
Right.
It just there.
That was kind of like my thing too. I was like, how do you film something and bounce it back right away?
Yeah,
I understand if you filmed it, they came back, and then this is the footage that we had. That's what I'm thinking. But
well, you look at it this way: if the army, let's be honest here, if the army hadn't said, you know what, we don't want to share the internet with the world.
Right.
Then we would. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
We wouldn't have it today.
Right.
It was theirs. They've had it. They've had it. They weren't sharing that with anybody.
No. Because it was military and you want to keep the advantage.
Yeah. So the guidance computer, the Apollo guidance computer, for instance, was advanced for its time. So it was advanced. It was there. Just, but you got to remember that time. It was tricky. It's not like today where everyone's got a cell phone. But back then, you had something like this. You wanted to make sure you only knew you had this.
Right. Watch Hidden Figures.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, exactly. You don't want China to know that you have this advanced technology because you don't want to share that information. That's why the spy movies back in that showed the spies back in those days are fucking amazing, dude. If you were a spy back then, dude, props to you, man, because that's nuts.
Oh no! So if you want to see some good spy shit and good space spy shit, Moonraker.
Yeah,
because they're up in space trying to, they're high down space, and so the government and they bring out the Space Marines, and they're all floating out with like laser pistols, and they're having a battle of space. He's got jetpacks on the back and stuff, and it's crazy, man.
Yeah, a good spy movie I seen recently was called Atomic Blonde.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna get Jason Bourne.
Nah, James Bond though, back in the 70s when they did Moonraker and stuff, was awesome.
The Van Allen belt. Everybody knows what the Van Allen belt is.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
What? Okay, the Van Allen belt is the radiation that is between the moon and the Earth that we have to go through to get to the moon.
Okay.
And NASA had to optimize the space shuttle to get through that. Otherwise, that radiation would have killed everybody.
Right. So basically, it's like, okay, so they're always talking about when they're coming back. You know how the heat. That's why they build a shield on the on the ships returning
to protect it from the Van Allen belt.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh, wow. I was going to read the Death Star. No, but it's not the Death Star. The Death Link. The tragic deaths like those in the Apollo 1 fire were due to risk inherited in space, not a conspiracy. So I don't, Bob, you probably remember Apollo 1 a little more than that.
I don't remember Apollo 1, but here's the deal. That makes sense because
you got to test it out, man.
When Russia and the United States were battling.
I got a phone call, so you guys got to talk.
All right, okay, let's go.
Hey, so when Russia and America were battling to be the first ones in space, they really didn't tell you how many ships they sent up there that burned up on re-entry or even getting to space because of the Van Allen belt.
Yeah.
Because the first time you do it, you don't know it's there.
Yes.
But they never broadcasted how many people died doing that.
Yeah. Because I think if you did, you'd cause a mass panic and no one would want you to.
Yeah. Well,
like there would be
so the Russians
trying to do that.
The Russians, the first time that they put their space capsule up in space, it was a dog.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a dog.
Yeah.
Then they sent the human once the dog came back and the dog survived. But that's just crazy. It's
I just think like the reason why I lean towards it's possibly fake is just like I said because of the race aspect of it. If there wasn't a race for us to be there first,
right,
then I the whole conspiracy of it for me goes away. But
Russia never landed on the moon,
right? But didn't we weren't we afraid that weren't we scared that they were gonna?
That's why we got into the chase to get to the moon first.
Right. So
Russia never, as far as I know, Russia never landed on the moon.
Because in my mind, I'm like, if you could just film or put out news. I mean, we're still talking about we still do it to this day. People could put out fake news and people fucking believe it. So
but here's the whole deal though. Now with fake news, there's so much technology and internet. Everyone's trying to look and debunk it.
Right.
But see, back then they didn't have that.
Exactly.
So I can see where you're going with this. Because there was nobody to say no, it really didn't happen.
Right.
Because nobody had access to the internet and the information to make sure it did happen or didn't.
Right. And like don't like a lot of people don't even realize that your stuff that you look at online is also controlled. Like if you you're not being shown everything.
Oh, you never are being shown.
Yeah, everything. Even though you think like there's which again I don't know if this is a conspiracy or not, but apparently like we are shown different things on TikTok in America,
absolutely,
than compared to China, Asia, whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Well, see that's because in other countries, the government controls what you can see.
Right. But I mean, do you not think the government also controls what we see here in some sense?
I think they can try, but because of how we've progressed and we always want to look to see if it's true or not.
Right.
So the people,
but that's the people who are willing to do that. There's some people who just see it and believe it.
Right.
We know a couple.
Exactly. But so I mean, people can see things and they'll say, well, that's true, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot more people, even on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
It's like they put something out there. They go, let me look myself.
Yeah.
But see, back in the 60s, you didn't have that.
Exactly. That's why I'm thinking they could just feed you anything. And and not just Americans. They could feed the world. America could feed the world anything that they want to say.
But
and
see, we never even thought differently about that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm in first grade. They're wheeling in the TV set, and the whole school gets to watch them land on the moon.
I'm pretty sure there was some 40-year-old dude at that time that was like, this is some BS.
Yeah.
But you as a child.
Child. And then trust me, and I'm with you, because there probably were people going, that's not real. And then, like I said, a week or 3 or 4 days later, they're wheeling in the TV set again to watch them like land in the ocean to get rescued. You know what I'm saying? But no, I can see it where there are people back then going, no, it's not true. Look at there's no shadows, there's no this, when, and how'd all that light get there, and things like that. I get it, and you know what? It's human nature to question.
Yeah, and that's why I'm also it's good to question even those things that that's why I can never really be. There's very little that I'm kind of like 100% on, and it has to do with people who are saying it. Granted, like we were talking earlier, like, oh, you have a PhD in this and that doesn't make you right about everything. But when I see multiple scientists and all that stuff, just like they're all aligned with the same agenda or the same facts or whatever, it's kind of hard.
And they want you to, and they want to paint a picture of their side of the story, make sure it's right.
Yeah. And it's all about just getting how many people can you get on your side, like what you're saying, like
but then
it starts becoming a reality in a sense.
But so the internet is a good thing and it's a bad thing.
Yeah, the balance of life. Yeah,
it's it's like, just because you see something on there doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
But if you believe everything you see for your side of the picture, I think you just need to do your homework and look at the other side. That's what I do, because if I see something that I like or don't like, I always look and find the other side and what they're saying.
But that's the key thing you said there, is like there has to be a bit of that story where you're questioning it, but for some people they don't question it at all.
They don't question it at all. They believe everything.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, exactly. And how many people are like that? Like
a lot.
The story of War of the Worlds. Because it was broadcasted. And hella people believed it.
Of course, but see, back
then
they didn't have access to information like we did.
That's how you did get your information, was
through the radio. The radio.
And I'm sure if it was any kind of entertainment other than news, it would be whimsical, and you'd have certain noises that you could tell like this is fake.
But see, the whole thing about War of the Worlds is they advertised right before he did his show, this is a show. So, but if you turned in late, you didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So you believed it, and that's where all the panic started.
Yeah, man. So there's still, I see stuff still happening till this day that could possibly be like that, especially with AI and all that shit. You see so many people like, oh my God, this is real. Like word just spreads, man.
I saw something the other day about the day that 9/11 happened.
The starter's back.
And they're like, well, the second plane, it was like CGI because it couldn't have taken out the building at the weight it went into and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I go, look, I saw it as it happened.
Same here.
All right. Yeah. And I saw the buildings, and the buildings are down.
Trust me, CGI was not that good back then.
CGI was not that good.
Did you hear the new theory, right? There was a fifth plane. Huh? There was a fifth plane.
There's always been a lot of planes.
Where was the fifth plane?
There was a fifth plane.
Well, there was the Pentagon plane, the 2 planes on the Twin Towers.
And there was a plane that wrecked that was going to take out the White House.
And then there was a plane that was, because there was 3 planes in New York.
Yeah.
There was 1 plane in the DC. There was 1 plane in where is the Pentagon?
There's one
that's like Virginia.
One crashed in Pennsylvania.
Right, that's the one that was supposed to take out the White House.
The White House.
So they took it over and crashed.
So it's a 6th plane then, I guess.
There's a 6th.
There was 2 for the World Trade Center.
Yeah. There was another one that was supposed to I forget where it was supposed to go, but that one was the one that they actually stopped from going into the air, and they found that one actually had explosives.
I never heard about that.
Oh no, I never heard about that. But dude, that plane, like site of the Pennsylvania one, that did not look like no commercial fucking plane. That looked like it was either pieces of a plane or like a personal
there's
plane.
Not much left.
Yeah, there wasn't much.
Right, because
it's like a tire, a wing.
That was the plane that was
no bodies.
A tire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that one lady got a call from her husband.
Yeah.
Because he called her right before he goes, "We're going to take over the plane."
Yeah.
And then that's the one that crashed and he died.
Oh wow.
Yeah. There was a guy on board.
A passenger said. I thought you were talking about I was like, what? The terrorist was like.
A passenger called his wife.
Yeah.
One Bob's talking about. There's people that actually made phone calls.
Right. Yeah. The guy called his wife and said, "I'm not going to make it, but I'm not going to let him crash the plane into the White House or wherever they're going to crash," because he had heard about the Twin Towers going down. He goes, "I'm not going to let him crash into anybody." So a bunch of those guys got up and fought the terrorists and took the plane over. Yeah. That's why it crashed in Pennsylvania.
I am drunk, man. I'm moving my mouse thing and watching it. Why it's not moving up there.
Yeah, man. Conspiracy. Hey, happy 4/20/21 now.
Yeah, that's it. So what's our last conspiracy?
All right, Mr. Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's the man. Hey,
with TikTok going nuts for Bigfoot.
You talking about Larry?
Larry
owes me $5.
That's somebody owes me money.
The exact first Bigfoot sighting is difficult to point out.
Okay. Yeah.
However, the legend of Sasquatch, also known as Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this. Often referred as Bigfoot.
That's Larry's cousin, Marcus.
Larry's cousin.
Gained traction.
Well, no, his cousin was Harry because he was in a movie Harry and the
Hendersons. Let me read this. Gained traction in the Northwest after 1924.
Right.
Following the Ape Canyon incident. The Ape Canyon incident. While early accounts of giant hairy beings existed.
Yeah.
All cultures. This is what's crazy.
Yeah.
In all cultures.
Well, all right. So
hold on, Bob. Before the Rolodex starts spinning, let me finish. Hairy beings existed at a turning point in the population of the Sasquatch legend. The Patterson Gimli film in 1967, a year before I was born, the very shitty film that everyone fucking uses. Not only widely considered controversial, no shit, further popularized the Bigfoot Sasquatch sightings. Go ahead, Bob.
All right, so I saw Sasquatch in the $6 Million Man. Okay?
Yeah.
But I'm like about 10 years old.
Again, we're not scientists.
I'm about 9 or 10 years old.
I got a PhD, but that's not what you think.
Right, exactly. We're on a road trip up to Oregon. It's like,
oh wait a minute, is this you're gonna tell us a Sasquatch?
Hold on, dude. Hey, you don't have one of these, John? Let's go, Bob.
Sorry, go.
I am. We're on a road trip going to Oregon.
Hold on, Bob. Let's do this right because we're getting a story right now.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Clip this. I love Bigfoot stories. Sorry, Sasquatch. I heard Bigfoot say.
So, all right. So I'm about 9 or 10, and we're in the process of Dad's getting transferred back to Missouri. So we're moving from Modesto to Missouri, but Dad always takes extra time off. So we're going up to Oregon to see my aunt before we head out. We're up in Northern California on the other side of Lake Shasta, Mount Shasta, listening to the radio. And the guy comes off and says, he goes, there was a sighting of Bigfoot near Dunsmuir, California. Right? Listen to the radio. And I asked my dad, I said, Dad, where's Dunsmuir? He goes,
yeah, I'm starting to think where else.
It's about 20 minutes in front of us. Because you have to go through Dunsmuir to get to Oregon. Yeah. I'm like, oh shit. Because I'm like 9 or 10, like, Bigfoot's in Dunsmuir, man. Yeah. What are we going to do? We see Bigfoot. Where are we going to run? And I'm like getting worried, but I don't say nothing to my dad because we're not staying in Dunsmuir that night. He's going to drive through. But I'm like, we're 20 minutes from where they just saw Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Okay, the radio says somebody saw Bigfoot in Dunsmuir. I'm like, okay, we're close. What's going to happen if we see Bigfoot?
Dad's gonna shoot that thing.
I hope Dad drives through it, man. I don't know, man. But that just got me worried like the whole night because
fucking Bob got us all high and happy.
I thought you were
you see
I saw Bigfoot.
No, I did not see Bigfoot.
Let me tell you this one time.
But
one time,
I was
camping and taking some mushrooms.
But the funny part is when we got to Missouri eventually that year, there was a movie that came out, Legend of Boggy Creek.
I heard of that movie.
And the Boggy Creek monster
was
a dark, furried creature that could have been Bigfoot's southern cousin. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. The big feet are everywhere, bro.
And then people went, and then that was the rumor around town for like a year. Hey man, we just saw the Boggy Creek monster.
Can you imagine Bigfoot walking around East LA?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. Yeah, man, the Northwest, that's
Oregon, Washington.
Yeah, they're big on that thing, dude. I love it
because it's all wilderness.
Man.
It's all wilderness.
Pre-1920s, many stories of wild hairy beings existed in Native American cultures. Through the term Bigfoot wasn't yet established. In 1924, Age Canning, which is the dude, a group of prospectors claimed a violent encounter with the gorilla man. That's what they called it back then.
Wasn't he a Yeti?
Yep. The Ape Canyon, Washington, which helped I can't get that word out. Facilitate the Sasquatch legend.
Yeah, man. It's kind of like Loch Ness, right?
Yeah,
I believe people saw Nessie, but then I guess scientists believe it's a whale's penis now. Like, you didn't hear about that?
But it's
you heard about that?
You
heard about that, right?
See the head, water, and then the head more body out of the water, in the water.
Yeah.
Who knows if those guys you're talking about that saw Bigfoot could have seen a really skinny bear. You know,
it could have been a really skinny grizzly or something like that, but up on his feet. But
up on his feet.
Bigfoot. I've always loved the rumor.
That
Bigfoot,
one is. I love that one. I believe.
Yeah, there's a new rumor that's going around.
Oh no, I've seen his vlogs.
I did his vlogs on TikTok.
Vlogs.
He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool.
They actually think that it's Netherlands that have not. That are still alive to this day that we come from. You know,
Netherlands, where Peter Pan's from?
No, Netherlands.
Put your finger in a dike. That's Neverland.
I'm sorry,
Neanderthals. Here we go.
Neanderthals that still exist, that are still roaming the earth. That's the new theory.
Well, I'm thinking that they could be really tall Assyrians, man. Because you ever see those guys with their shirts off? Have you seen my boss Simon with
the pod just starts going crazy when we're in
Have you seen my boss Simon with no shirt on? Some bitch. Bigfoot takes pictures of him.
Dude, there are just some people who don't look like the rest. And unfortunately, like if you're seeing a pack of them or something, like
how come they're never in a group?
Yeah,
it's always individuals.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, why isn't there?
How does he procreate and
why
keep the legend going?
A good fucking video of him, man. We got fucking our phones. We got
technology like no one's business.
We can record the goddamn moon now.
Before the Bigfoot vlogs thing started happening, there was one. Maybe it was a couple months ago, maybe even a year ago. That someone was on a train. Did you see that one? And like you see like a brownish big entity like kind of walking, and then he sits down, that kind of disappears. That one had me tripping.
So do you really think that a Wookiee could be Sasquatch?
Yeah, dude.
Maybe Chewbacca's cousin got stuck on Earth. Right?
I thought I gave it some thought about whether a Neanderthal could still be alive today, and I guess honestly, their DNA still exists in all of us.
I'm just trying to get this correct. Neanderthals are right before Homo sapiens.
Caveman. First is Homo sapiens, then Neanderthals.
Yeah, and then we come from Neanderthals and another group.
We're Homo erectus.
Right? No, we're Homo sapiens.
We're Homo sapiens.
Homo sapiens.
Homo Erectus went extinct.
We are Neanderthals, and another one that begins with a D, which I can't remember the name of it right now off the top of my head.
So they're saying in the Netherlands there's still Neanderthals out there.
They're saying that.
No, he mixed up, and he wanted to say Neanderthals.
Yeah, Neanderthals. I wanted to say I'm drinking, but they're saying Neanderthals that are they're still alive.
Yeah,
There's some of them that are still alive that are actually hiding. And
why couldn't we have seen them earlier? And
that's what I said.
So, and why wouldn't people who explore like the North Woods and stuff find animals that were eaten and stuff?
Well, because Bob, they are the hide and seek champions.
They are
seek champions.
All right,
in my book,
Bigfoot is a hide and seek champion.
Out of all these crazy Bigfoots, Loch Ness monster, moon landing, whatever, which one do you guys wish to be true?
Bigfoot.
I think mermaids. I want mermaids to be real.
Gen Y or Gen Alpha.
Okay.
Aiden.
Oh,
Gen Y. Gen
Alpha.
Gen Alpha.
That's so cool, man. Alpha.
Gen Alpha. Do you believe that there's a Bigfoot out there? A Bigfoot.
Who's Bigfoot?
You know what Bigfoot is?
Jackling Shirky.
Yeah. Do you think a Bigfoot exists out there? This is coming from an Alpha. Yeah, you are, aren't you? What are you? You're Gen Z? How do you fit in Gen Z?
Nah, man, you're not Gen Z. You're Gen Alpha.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Gen Z. Gen Z. Does Gen Z believe there's a Bigfoot?
Do you believe there's a Bigfoot out there? He don't care. He doesn't.
Do you not follow him on TikTok?
Right? On TikTok, he's out there.
He's out there, man.
He's posting every day.
How do you know you're not playing video games against Sasquatch?
Dude,
there could be a Sasquatch in a cave right now.
But no, seriously, back in the day, how cool was it that Sasquatch was on $6 Million Man?
It was cool. It was cool.
I didn't see it.
What blows
Harry
me
and the
away,
Hendersons.
What blows me away about this whole thing is just the amount of money that's being generated with this conspiracy theory alone. Is insane. There are dedicated websites that have people that post every day.
That's why conspiracy theories are. They
double check these posts every day, and they grade the whether or not it is true or false statement. So they're rating these sightings. And when you start looking at the sightings and where there are now officially there's this website that shows you just about every state in the United States has a sighting of Bigfoot. Every single
man, but that's the same thing as like look at aliens and people who say they've been probed.
I've never seen that one. That's got to be fucking.
Come on now.
It can't be all like in Arizona. You know what I mean? It's gonna be.
There is no place. There's no place for that some bitch to hide in South Dakota. Yeah. How does he hide in South Dakota?
And again, dude,
Iowa. How does he hides in the corner?
I'm not gonna dismiss anyone who said they've seen something, because any jackass could put on a costume, and run out in the woods, and you see it, you film it, you're on TikTok, you say that is your truth, and I believe y'all, but realize that it could be some asshole in a Bigfoot costume running around the woods trying to fuck with you, man.
So my point too is in the South. Come on now, they didn't see Bigfoot in the South because some bitch, good old boy, was going to shoot him and bring him back for a trophy. I'll take him to the taxidermy.
Hey, no disrespect to the South, but some of the motherfuckers are Bigfoot. You know what I mean? They're walking out there, no shirt on.
There you go, Mr. Sharp.
Yeah.
Damn. So Bigfoot got a passport. He'd be going to Mexico. Shit.
I think they would stop him at the border coming back.
How come? What? My name is Jib.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Bob said, I just pictured ICE arresting Bigfoot.
Right? Keep it in locks. No, I'm like, so Bigfoot's trying to come back into the States.
Wait.
Yeah.
And then I pictured all the baby Bigfoots.
Oh, no. This guy.
Trying to stop ICE.
Fucking guy.
No, I can just see it now. Bigfoot's coming back into America. They stop him, and he's like, "What's your name?" Chewy. Yeah, I can see it. Chewbacca, Chewy, you're good.
That blue one over there by Nova Scotia, that's Canada, right? He's only been in Canada once.
Yeah,
or spotted over there once.
Yeah, dude, if I was gonna hide, I'd hide in Canada. There's a lot of trees, not a whole lot of population.
It's a female, about 8 feet tall.
Oh, what? Oh, wait, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Are the blue ones females?
Maybe we'll figure that out here in a second. Let me click another blue one.
8 feet tall, and then there's dude.
Okay.
Could you imagine if she made?
No, the color doesn't.
Okay. Could you imagine if she made it with Shaq?
I'm like,
those first kids of all, would dominate the NBA.
How do you know if it was a female? That's crazy.
Well, she had a bra on and lipstick. She's walking to the guys going, "How you doing?"
You could tell she was wearing a weave. It was fake. God damn it.
A weave.
A weave.
She had a thong on.
I can't picture them there. For sure.
She flashed me. Anyways, look,
she's wearing 6-inch hooker heels.
There's certain things like, okay, whoa, there's even some.
You could see it's pretty prevalent on the West Coast.
Oh yeah.
It's
they have a whole thing out in Oregon, dude. I don't know about Washington, but I think it's Oregon that has like, dude, they have little like gift shops and all that kind of stuff. Like, they rock hard with that.
That can't be. No, you can't be a Bigfoot that close to Chicago.
Hell no.
He shaved his back.
So he was just seen but last month. He was seen last month, 5/27/2024.
Where?
At 5:48 p.m. in Chicago.
You know who? You know who saw him?
D saw him.
Jussie Smollett. He had a MAGA hat on. He was carrying a rope. Looked like a noose.
Hey, what was Kanye doing?
Right? Can someone find out where Kanye West was? MAGA hat. At 2:00 in the morning, where are you going? Subway? Sandwiches?
He's going to Church's Chicken. Native Americans often view a Bigfoot as brother or wild man.
There you go.
Yeah, they often Bigfoot to Native Americans was either a trickster, or someone that actually stole their women and their food.
Whoa!
So yeah, you either got the trickster or you got the guy that came into the village, stole your women and your food. So they liked women. They liked their women. Often the stories of them stealing food, women, and children, or causing mischief. Some tribes, like those in the whatever region, consider them primarily hostile, being who steals salmon or calls me the salmon. I just pictured them doing, I'm going to go fishing today.
Yeah.
I feel like salmon.
Caught us a big one here, boys.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, you look at
smoke them in clay, like in the old days.
So you look at the grizzly bears out there in the rivers catching salmon. I can see Sasquatch catching salmon that way.
Yeah,
but all right, this is. I'm not proud of this, but I'm going to throw it out there.
I need to put my finger on the button.
No. When you said they would come into camp, steal their food, and steal their women, there was a movie I saw on a specific channel.
I don't trust Bob. I'm going to keep my finger
on a specific channel with women who would continuously run around naked and do things with other men. And there was a Bigfoot involved one time, and Bigfoot had a threesome with these two hot chicks.
Okay.
So I could see.
Downloaded the wrong movie, I guess. This is Harry and the Hendersons.
Downloaded the wrong movie.
What was the name of that movie?
I don't remember. Bigfoot was involved, and there was two high school cheerleaders who were.
Dude, just imagine, like, again, thinking outside the box, right? We don't got to be geniuses, but imagine the guy who ate most of the food and like accidentally killed one of the wives that he was sleeping around with, and was just like, hey man, I saw this
Bigfoot.
Yeah, you're talking to villagers, you know, no, you don't understand. I woke up to take a piss. I walk out my hut, and there's this big giant hairy guy stealing your wife and eating your leftover salmon, dude. I don't know. It wasn't me. You got salmon in his mouth. It wasn't me though, brother. Like, trust me. Like, so.
Well, the only reason I kind of dabbled with the reasoning with the Neanderthals is because the Neanderthals did live in caves, and they did live in isolated situations. They didn't hang out with each other. They didn't have like tribes of them. They all kind of did their own little thing.
They weren't going to the club and hanging out.
Yeah, they weren't, hunting together and doing all this other nonsense. They kind of did their own damn thing, and they lived in caves. could it possibly like I know I like I'm thinking this we're talking millions of years of a specific
species like just populating. They've had to populate. Like there's no way it's still from.
Ain't no dude living 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Except Moses.
All right, so all right, here we go. All right,
he had that free healthcare.
Yeah, come to America. And Bigfoot, even Bigfoot gets free healthcare. Bigfoot uses the what is the term when you come to the United States? You come as sanctuary city.
Sanctuary city, yeah.
Bigfoot.
He's up in the sanctuary woods.
Yeah.
There you go.
Art.
Yes.
You ready?
Yeah.
Moon landing, true or false?
I believe we have landed on the moon, but I believe the footage that we saw was false.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's what I've been saying. I think now we definitely have the technology, and even before now. But no. I'm just saying beforehand. I think it was just a thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
How could we? Because we might not have the technology to get there yet, but we want to be the first. I heard the craziest thing because you guys always talk about sports, and I wanted to ask you guys that before. Like, there was a conspiracy that the Patriots didn't win some of the Super Bowls because there was.
Hold on, relax.
What you know about this too?
No. You said the word that Bob don't like hearing, but go ahead. I just want to make sure Bob's okay.
Yeah. I always thought it was, again, a conspiracy, something people say something about the Patriots, whether it's the refs or something about laces out. I don't know what the fuck. I don't really remember. But when I talked to you guys about it, Ray and all that, and other guys at work, you guys are like, yeah, that really happened.
Deflategate.
Yes.
And also, when they beat the Eagles and when they beat the Panthers, they got caught filming the walkthroughs. Yeah. Bill Belichick got fined $1 million, got kicked out of the league for a year. Rumor has it that first started the Rams Super Bowl but Eric Mangini, who went on to coach the Browns, is the one who turned him in because he was going to do filming all the walkthroughs for the other team. Yeah. But getting back,
so that's what I'm saying, dude. People tend to cheat. They're thinking outside the box of like, what can we do?
Because I'm trying to think myself, and I will have to do some research. I will do some research on this because you bring up a good point.
Yeah,
just to put it out there, like, hey, we got there first.
The point that I'm thinking is where we were as far as film technology and video technology at that point in time. And how that would react in space. So that's a good theory. Actually, I'm going to do some research on that to see where we were as far as.
Tell me, the film wouldn't have frozen.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking. There's so many factors. Bob brings up one of them. It's fucking freezing cold there. Yeah. And okay, number one, freezing cold. And I can tell you because my brother-in-law climbed Mount Everest. He turned his phone on and his camera. He was able to take 2 pictures. You know why?
Because it froze.
It was so fucking cold that it drains the battery.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm thinking that, and him having to have he had actually had other batteries on his body to keep them batteries warm, so he can get more than one picture. Because when he got up there, you want to take, you're on the top of the world.
Yeah, you fucking climbed that shit. You better
the
take
pictures that he took are absolutely. There's no pollution up there, so the pictures are super clear.
Right.
And then there's a book that's up there. And you want to take that picture. There's a metal shed there. You open this thing up, and there's a book in there. You write your name, and you write the date and the time you got to the top. So if you ever get up there, if you ever make it to the top of Mount Everest, you can actually look through that.
A lot of people died getting up
there, so you can see
because the air is so thin.
And my brother-in-law, he got almost a mile up, and he had to stop. My other one, both of them, both my brother-in-laws and then my father-in-law made it. Them two made it to the top. He didn't because it's called elevation sickness.
Right.
He got elevation sickness and couldn't go anymore. But I'm starting to think, where were we as far as technology when it came to just not photography, because that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, but the equipment not freezing up.
You're talking video.
We already mentioned that they lied, though.
I'm gonna have to dig into.
We said in the beginning of this that they lied because Buzz Neil Armstrong or whatever, Buzz Aldrin,
Neil Armstrong, Jeff Grissom.
You guys are like, he technically wasn't the first person because the filmer had to
get out first.
Yeah. So that's already a lie.
Yeah.
There's already a lie right there. That's like
fucking art. That's common sense.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. But someone had to get out and film them. I mean,
unless the
So you're telling like that's but that's what you said.
It's like me and Bob were saying that whole part was just for us.
Like, but that's what we're saying though. It was more important, or like the idea of them having to film it a certain way. Hey man, get out there first. And then we're gonna say this guy, you're gonna film this guy's the first step.
But like, that's the only. But
that's very Hollywood, in my opinion.
No,
you know?
but
national pride.
But that's the only proof you had.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have landed, jumped out. Hey, I'm here. Yeah. But if there's no video of it, were you really there?
Yeah, were you really there?
I get that part, but I guess I'm in this mindset of like how vloggers are.
Yeah.
You would have been the dude that's like.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I'm in the moon, and then here comes Buzz.
Yeah, I do believe that needs to be changed.
But they had to have what? Did they have a director or like you know? I mean, like I set it up like this, and then
the question has to be asked.
Like, who's even that camera guy?
Who shot the video of Neil Armstrong coming out jumping on the moon? You know
why doesn't he get no credit? Bro was out there.
Well, because Buzz was the man. To be honest,
man, that's what I'm saying, bro.
He was. Because you think about what was important to kids back then, and Buzz was.
Yeah.
Buzz was he was the Air Force pilot. He was the number one pilot in the world. He's, for them, for everybody in the world at that time, your heroes were firemen, policemen, astronauts.
I get it. I totally get it.
It wasn't teachers. It was
I get it.
Never been a big hero.
It wasn't even your dad.
Yeah.
It was dad. Dad was
because dad just goes to work every day.
No,
what
my dad was here, right?
Right. I don't know. I didn't have a dad.
My dad was
but yeah, I think that does need.
See, that's why you're so damn negative. That's why you got too many questions, Art.
No, I'm just saying there's a little bit. Again, we've been there.
Right.
I'm not gonna say we haven't been in the moon. I'm not silly, dude. I know we've been there.
Well,
but it's just to me a little convenient.
I like your theory.
A little convenient because I think maybe it would have been Apollo 27th to actually made it there, but we just wanted to get it there so bad. And
Apollo 13 was going to go again, but they had the accident, they had to come back. But here's the cool part: if we ever go again, land on the moon, we got wheels there because there's a car up there.
Yeah,
we got wheels.
Yeah. All right,
wire that bitch.
Yes or no? Moon landing.
Oh yes, I saw it on TV.
Dude, you saw it on TV. It happened.
He saw it on. He fucking was 6 years old. He was like,
I was first grade, man.
I think Bob like the bowl of Cheerios.
And I'm not taking that away.
I was at school.
I'm not taking that away from anyone. That's such a experience, man. Believe it, don't believe it. It don't really matter. Like, it's a cool thing to see.
Bob was at school going, fuck, he's gonna get laid a lot, man. God, dude, when he gets back, he's getting laid a lot.
And I feel like Bob was thinking like,
hey,
hopefully we see some alien boobies.
No, at that age, I'm just like, man, I need to be an astronaut because
that's awesome.
Because Carmen Adams might kiss me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Look how.
Shout out to Carmen Adams.
Shout out Carmen Adams. Hopefully you're still alive.
Look at when the moon landing happened.
Hey,
and who Toy Story picks to represent.
Buzz Lightyear.
I get you. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. When I
Buzz punched the fucking dude in the face because he said it was fake.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No disrespect, Buzz. You know what I mean? Shout out to you. I know you watch the show.
Buzz Lightyear, Tim Allen.
Yeah,
but that's the whole. But I mean, that's the whole thing. Is
hello, Becky. Sorry we didn't see you there.
Because trust me, man,
Becky, if you're still there, moon landing.
Becky, Captain Kirk slept with anything that breathed. Okay.
Yeah, man. Hey, Han Solo made me want to be out there in space.
Yeah. That's Captain Kirk in the green bitch. Oh man.
and that's the reason,
correlation.
The reason they shot that scene with Buzz Lightyear is because they wanted every kid in the world in the United States to say, I want to be an astronaut.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, but
of course for U.S. pride.
Yeah.
U.S. pride.
Oh, see, now you're turning me on, okay? Now you're going for the Princess Leia, Becky. Oh my God! I'm flying to North Carolina.
I don't want.
Anyways,
who knows what's his name? It was a Jabba the Hutt did to her.
Wow!
Makes me think. Yeah,
I wouldn't go there.
Yes, Tang was the powdered drink that they drank on the.
Yeah, so I'm going with a yes. I believe that we did land there.
Okay.
I'm going to dig into the photography part of it because I'm kind of curious now exactly where we were as far as photography in 1969.
And again, I'm thinking about it in this day and age because I'm like, dude, I would have been filming everything. But again, how much film do you have? I would have been filming them in space. I would have been filming the landing. I would have filmed.
You got to remember though too, and I'm going to use a word that is going to make it sound like a conspiracy, but everything is scripted.
Yeah,
everything is scripted. They know we need to get down there. We need to go do this, and this, and get back here at this time. It's military. So everything is scripted to the time. Those guys are constantly looking at their watches, going, "We got 2 minutes to get this rock, that rock, and this rock, and get back." So
well, and it could have been that too because of the temperature up there and with the suit and stuff, all that did.
Yeah. All right, Art, you ready?
You asking about Larry?
Is the Earth flat?
Nah, fuck that, dude. The Earth is not flat. That's wild. Now, do I think it's like a perfect circle? No, but it's definitely not flat. It's a sphere. These big words, you guys, I don't even know what's a sphere. Is that
a sphere? Is not a full circle. It's kind of tilted a little bit.
Like, you know what? Fuck that. The Earth is shaped like an egg.
There you go.
Heard it first.
Pretty much. That's what
Aristotle. Right? Aristotle said.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah. It's a fucking egg. And shout out to Christopher Columbus who thought it was a fucking pear because he likes boobs
with a nipple.
The space race was incredible. It was awesome. 3D sphere.
Becky.
Becky, do you believe it's real?
Yeah, Becky. I'm kind of curious. I don't know how. I know you don't like this, Becky, but I'm going to go ahead and say it because Bob doesn't like it either. But I don't know how old you were and when you were sitting in front of the TV when you were watching.
She just said she wrote a paper on it.
Yeah,
that's good.
She was. I want to see if she was. Did she sit in front of it?
Was she impacted?
Becky, did they roll a TV set in when you were in school to watch it? Because on the West Coast they did.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if time difference you might not have got.
They've had that would be impossible for them not to.
You got a 3 hour. I didn't even think about it.
3 hour gap.
3 hour gap.
Yeah,
because I guess you could have been asleep.
See, they rolled the TV in later missions.
Yeah, nice.
So on the West Coast, we got it when they landed and when they came back to Earth.
Right. Well, Becky, here's
how many people were like waking up their kids to watch that? Like, for the ones who were like outside
that'd be on the other side of the world. Yeah, but
my second question, Becky, I'm not sure how old you are, Bob.
She was born in 1960.
It
says right there.
Yeah,
so that means you're 30 years old. I'm bad at math.
No, so she's 65.
So she was 9 years old.
Yeah. She was 9 years
old. So Becky, when you saw that for the first time, did you feel like it was fake?
Happy birthday!
Did you feel like it was real? Did you feel like it was real, or were you just kind of like in awe of what you just saw? Did you feel it was fake? Bob, flat Earth.
It's round.
That thing was. There's no way you could tell that thing was fake back.
The Earth is not flat.
The Earth is not flat. I'm going with you. All right. Is your cousin Bigfoot?
Yeah, fuck yeah. We call him Chewy.
Chewy from East LA.
Yeah, that's Chewy from the East Side.
Hey.
Exactly, Becky. You were pretty close to where they did all the mission controls and things like that.
Hey, you know what? Becky just changed my mind. I believe it's real.
All right, good.
Because she says she has. You have friends and family. Yeah, I trust you, Becky.
Well, no, because you had like military bases all on the East Coast, and and everything happened out of Florida, Cape Canaveral, and then you had Houston. But I mean,
yeah, I'm a young guy who wasn't there at the time. So
I to me, like I think of like Bob and Becky, and actually seeing that launch, and just that's a rocket, dude. You grow up like you talk about rockets, but you don't see one for the first time on TV, and it's going to the fucking moon. And
dude.
The only thing I honestly could like relate to that was seeing 9/11. I thought that shit was fake.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, Well, not that I thought it was fake. Like I was in disbelief that it was real. Like this can't be happening. Right, like so, this isn't. This is real right now.
Your 9/11 moment was my 1986 moment with Challenger.
Yeah, the Challenger.
So they launched the Challenger space shuttle.
Okay,
and they're following it. They're following it.
That was a sad day.
And all of a sudden, it just blew up.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody on board died.
Yeah. And how old were you when this happened? I don't know.
I was in my 20s.
Oh wow! Yeah. So you were of age to realize the significance of it and all that stuff. Yeah.
What made it even worse, though, Art, was a lot of those people weren't astronauts.
You seen this too? Did you see this too? Was this around when you were around?
Yeah. Christine McAuliffe was the only one who was an astronaut. She was a school teacher.
School teacher, yeah.
But she won a contest to get to go up on the space shuttle.
And what was the whole reason of this launch?
It was a space shuttle. They did space shuttle to explore space all the time back then.
Just to fly through and then like
they did space shuttles all the time.
Okay. No, was supposed to hook up with
the space station.
Yeah.
They're supposed to hook up with the space station.
Okay. Yeah, but like she said, exactly. Challenger was it was shocking because you're watching it on TV, and it's just like wow. All of a sudden, boom, there's a problem. You
over some O-rings and gaskets.
You see pieces falling back to the sky. You're like,
Becky.
That was the first.
Everything has to be.
Wait, let me check Becky's location.
Everything has to be. Whoa! Oh yeah.
Becky's in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
North Carolina. Oh!
Maybe that was her who reported it.
All right, Becky. We had a. This is our Bigfoot theory.
This was just a couple days ago.
Whoa!
Becky. Hey.
Becky. June 2nd, the day before my birthday at 4:45 p.m. You had a Bigfoot sighting in North Carolina. He was.
Let me see if he posted anything during that.
Look at your buddy Larry.
He was. He or she. They're not distinguishing. Was 7 foot tall. He did not have a vocal disclaimer. Yes, described the encounter. So you had a sighting in North Carolina on the 2nd of June.
Bigfoot.
Becky, do you believe in Bigfoot, Becky? We need to know.
Hey, if you ever see him, don't trip. Just be like, yo, Larry, I know Art. He says he wants his $5 back.
Right. Let me ask you, because you guys have all seen the TikTok videos. Yeah. How fucking funny would be if Bigfoot was really that kind of person?
That'd be awesome.
That would be hilarious,
dude.
Okay.
That'd be great.
So Becky, my question is about Bigfoot being in North Carolina back on June 2nd. Was it Bigfoot or was it Mike Jaminski from Duke? Let us know, Becky. Because I'm thinking Mike Jaminski might have grown a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those celebrities going up to space, God be with you, man. I think it's way too.
It was 11 minutes, but you know what though? I mean, you got out there.
Or those.
I think it was Trump. No.
Oh God.
No, Trump's not tall enough. I'm thinking it was Mike. Mike Jaminski. Okay.
I'm just thinking of
I'm thinking it was Mike Jaminski. It could have been Spinarkle. You never know, man.
Hold on.
Or Kenny Denard.
These no, these Bigfoot sightings. I think you just gotta take them again with the aspect of like someone. I don't like to tell someone what they seen because I didn't see it or I don't believe it, but to my knowledge, it could have been some shadows. It could have been something else.
No, Becky,
not saying you didn't see anything. I'm just saying,
No, Becky, we've already got the map of all the the Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah, and like we said, we had the map pulled up, and we actually had a sighting on June 2nd.
Who knows how Bigfoot's age? They could live up to 300 years old. I don't know.
Dude,
they're mythical creatures.
But the thing is it's like Bob is saying. I mean, it's not like. You see one, and it's not like where's the other one? Where's
the rest of the
here we go. I'll give you that. If we're talking about back in the day,
of course I know hardly anybody made it through Hurricane Helene.
Hunters and gatherers, maybe the Bigfoot we see or people see is the hunter, and he's out there, and then the Miss Bigfoot's at home making a sandwich. I don't know, dude. I don't think
I don't know.
I don't know this guy's what.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. You got look at Trump as Bigfoot.
Oh wow,
that's awesome.
That is.
There you
crazy.
go. Is that what you saw, Becky?
Oh wow.
Oh my God, John.
That is
and he probably had a mega hat.
He had a MAGA hat on. Again, if he had the MAGA hat, it was in Chicago. It was Jesse Smollett. Wait, no, Juicy Smollett. Anyway, see Kanye. I never Kanye was.
Yeah, because Kanye be out there with some wild outfits sometimes. You don't know.
That's awesome. Where are we going? Subway. At 2:00 in the morning to get a sandwich?
All right, before we go, I want to ask you guys, and I kind of got a general idea of which one you think is real. But I is there one that is out there that you've kind of dabbled with, thinking it could be true?
Aliens, for sure. I think aliens.
All right, take aliens.
Oh shit!
Take aliens out of it because I don't want aliens as a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
All right, mine.
Yeah,
the government did kill John F. Kennedy.
Okay. Hey, Nessie, the Loch Ness monster is a whale's penis. Just to let you know,
Loch Ness.
They've uncovered it already.
Yeah. But it's in and out of the water like that.
They look.
Is there one that you just kind of you have a hard time with? You just like when you hear these facts and
the one that I like absolutely. The flat Earth one is definitely one that I'll never believe.
You'll never believe, but I mean I'm talking about one that you hear all the facts.
What I mean.
You're almost buying into it.
Dude, there's a lot of those. That's why I love conspiracies. There's a lot of those. I'm thinking
that aliens crashed here back in the day of the Egyptians.
Yeah, dude, that's why. Well, that's what you just want to even talk about it as being conspiracy.
I want to take aliens out of it. If there was other ones, I thought for sure he was going to say that Biggie Smalls and Tupac were still alive and playing.
Oh no, not those guys. But I have seen Elvis in Vegas, so I believe Elvis Presley.
So you want a conspiracy? I think Suge Knight killed Tupac.
Oh yeah,
I think Suge Knight killed a lot of people.
Yeah, I think Suge Knight and what's his name?
Mr. Puffy Combs.
Not Puffy Combs. Yeah, Puffy Gas.
Yeah.
Is that what they call him?
No, well, Sean Combs is his real name.
But P Diddy. No, P Diddy. Yeah, that's like a conspiracy.
I think those two had him killed, but only because of not just because of the record deal, but also he knew the truth about Diddy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that could be. I believe that. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah. He, like I said, always question everything, and there's always more than one side to a story. So you know, like
I think Michael Jackson's still alive.
No, I don't think so.
I'm sure.
Prince?
I have no. I think Prince died.
I don't think so. I think they made sure he was dead.
Yeah.
Like now, I got thrown a little bit of a curve with the hanging dude that hang himself in prison. I'm starting to find
Epstein.
I'm starting to believe that maybe he did kill himself. I think.
Dude. Yeah. There's
I think a lot of things are coincidental about the cameras and stuff, but I'm starting to believe that maybe he couldn't take the now. I think he did kill himself, but I think he got help. I think the guards helped him kill himself. But I don't think a guard actually killed him.
Right.
I think a guard helped him by giving him the things he needed to kill himself.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things like that just
let me finish. But I think he financially made sure that those people that were going to, because that's the thing when you're in prison, is if you have money. If you have money and you're in prison, you can make things happen. And what I'm starting to buy is a story that he had money put away that the government didn't know about. He let those guards know what's going on. He knew that he wasn't going to be able to handle prison and not go to prison. I think he made sure that those people, those cameras, himself, not the government, but himself, made sure that those cameras were off and he got what he needed to kill himself.
I think he was killed. And I think that Ghislaine Maxwell, his girlfriend, how they didn't do a trial on TV.
Yeah.
3 days, she's in jail forever, and there's no access to her. And I think that was real quiet, hush, hush, because people didn't want her version coming out of what really happened. And that's why I think he was killed.
Well, that's
she's still alive.
She's in prison.
Alive.
Okay.
See, that's one of the things that are like kind of bothers me, and I think we have evolved to a society that we can handle these certain things. Now, do I believe 1940, 1950 people could have handled the fact that there were aliens here? Probably not. I think today's people, hey, there's aliens here. Cool. I think that's what you get response now. But I think 1940s and 1950s with the war and everything that was going on, I see Americans going, well, how do we kill them? How do we kill these fuckers? You know, so when I hear that the government does certain things to protect society, that kind of bothers me sometimes because I almost feel like, hey, give us a chance. You don't know how we're going to react to these situations. Who knows if 1980 people would have said, oh, cool, there's aliens here? All right, where are they? What facet are they responsible for civilization? Are they part of government? Well, we want to know those things. It's just curiosity.
Well, see, a lot of things like what you're saying, I do believe, but there's also things like that I guess glance over, which is there could be possibly money involved. And when you are dealing with a power that says, hey, if you say anything, you know, you're not going to see tomorrow. And so that keeps so anything comes to play where it comes with the government, you don't really want to fuck with it. If they say, don't say anything, you know, you're just an employee who's like, all right, like, I'm not going to say anything then, you know.
Do you think Area 51's real?
Yeah, there's but who is it? Is it aliens or just unidentified objects that we don't know?
I think I do believe in Area 51.
There is a location. There has to be a location.
Right. But here's my.
But there are spacecraft. Right. And I do believe we used that.
Here's where I'm going with this, right? So if the aliens landed in the 40s and 50s, and that in the 50s, you started seeing alien movies. In the 80s, you had two great series on TV. You had Alienation and V. But could we have used the technology from an alien spacecraft to get the fuel to launch our space?
No, because rockets? I think they don't. I don't think they understand that technology as far as the power that they use, the source of power.
But maybe maybe they looked at it and they took the resources we have. They said, okay, look, we can make this kind of fuel, and get the rocket out of the Earth's atmosphere up into space. Getting it farther into space, we don't have that technology yet, but at least we got the fuel to get up there now.
I think what you're saying is right in the sense of the word fuel. I think the fuel was the passion to want to go, there's something out there.
Right.
We need to see what's up out there.
And so
it could be dangerous. It could be whatever.
I think whatever powers their ships is beyond us.
I know,
but it will always be beyond us, and it's beyond nuclear fusion.
But
because there's just the travel time and space is just beyond.
We don't have it figured out yet. Yeah. But what I'm saying is maybe the alien landed, and because in the 40s nobody had a vision to go to space. In the 50s, they thought about it. So maybe. The alien ship landed. We got it to Area 51. Then all of a sudden,
closer to your mouth.
And then all of a sudden, all of a sudden, we are talking about getting to space now. Why the rush in the late 50s, early 60s?
Look at the movies that came out in the 50s and the 60s. It was them invading us. It was almost like the government.
Like propaganda.
Propaganda making sure that society understood that if they were here, this is their goal.
Right.
And when maybe that goal isn't what their intentions are for being here.
But but the government panicked and wanted to get.
And I do believe that we are here. Here we go. Don't get past. I do believe they had a hand in where we are today. I do believe that. I do believe that we came from apes and all that other stuff. But I do believe that they had a hand in making sure that we evolved to where we are today.
Exactly.
I still think they're still doing that today.
Hell yeah, Becky.
And I do like I heard a theory not too long ago, and they were talking about our ships taking what we have today. If we could actually travel the speed of light to this one specific planet, and this was what's his name, Degeneres or whatever his name is. He explained that ship would leave Earth, get here to this thing at the speed of light, and come back and everybody would be at least 40 to 50 years
Yes,
older.
yes.
See, I don't think we could handle that.
Like Flight of the Navigator. Is that what that movie was?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, because it's just like
That's crazy.
If that's how long it would take.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
even at the speed of light.
Right.
But and then so the person who's in the craft isn't going to age at all, or are they going to age as well? Or is it a form of time traveling, or are they going to come back 40 years older as well?
They would come back. They would come back a couple years older, right?
Right. They'd come back a couple years older.
Yeah,
but not the 40.
Not the people on Earth would be old. Yeah,
they would be 40 years older.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Well,
I don't think I can handle that.
The way you mentioned something, and I've been thinking about this, how
I could be wrong, but that's
back in the day, how they were possibly making these movies, making these shows about aliens to kind of prep Americans or the world for possibly an invasion because we found this craft or something, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what they want to do. The aliens are dead, blah, blah, blah. I think about that with zombie flicks.
Yeah.
Why are zombies like, so when COVID happened, bro, when COVID happened, let me tell you, dude, I was out shotgunning it every fucking night.
But Art, they haven't found a zombie either. So we're going to get invaded by Sasquatch and zombies.
Well,
right?
see, like the thing was, I had this conversation with a friend a long time ago, and I was like telling her, dude, think about if someone just cooked a bad batch of meth.
Yeah.
How many tweakers in Modesto you would have to be running away from? And then that thing happened with the bath salts in Florida, like a week later.
But going beyond that, dude, it's called mad cow disease.
Yeah, mad cow.
Okay.
You think about that. Now, if that were to spread throughout the country and throughout the world, you would have a bunch of people running around like a bunch of fucking zombies trying to bite each other, dude.
Yeah, man. I just think it might be from cows, it might be from the flour, it might be from fucking bad meth, but
well, think about this.
Get your guns ready.
You guys both love movies. Think about how long it took before they did an actual positive alien movie.
Well, actually, if you look at the movie Alienation, where the aliens came down, and that was a positive movie because they mixed in with society. Now, V, on the other hand, they were lizard people who were going to kill us anyway.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
Alienation, that was the first
one. I have to go back to E.T., motherfucker.
Yeah, E.T., but there was a great movie and a great series called Alienation.
Everything else was they were fucking shooting lasers into the core of the earth.
Yeah, exactly. They wanted to blow us up.
Oh, yeah, Becky, get the shotgun ready all the time because I'm telling you, well, where we live, I've turned a corner and I'm like, I've seen a tweaker.
Planet of the Apes.
Like, I seen a tweaker in the middle of the road. I was with my daughter and I straight made a U-turn. Like, I'm like, nope, bro was in the middle of the road, just like all I thought was a silhouette, and he was just like,
hey, Becky,
I was like, nope. Let me.
I seen a tweaker on camera dance for 4 hours to no music.
M96.
Yeah. Shout out Merced.
Shout out Rite Aid Merced.
He would dance and then stop, put his head down for like 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden the music, I guess, would hit back in his head. He'd get back up, and he just started back again for another
wait.
Oh, I think
California Dairies or Rite Aid?
Turlock Park.
I think that was the zombies from fucking the Thriller music video where he just wanted. I'm talking about the flesh-eating ones.
No fucking shirt on. He had his hat turned backwards. He had ripped fucking jeans.
Central Park.
And he danced for 4 fucking hours, dude. 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, fentanyl, baby. Fentanyl is
man. Yeah.
So I other than that, I'm like thinking of like there's so many of them. There's so many conspiracies. There's so many different theories out there, and like
which is good. It's a good thing. It is a good thing to question everything.
And I don't think like you should treat these people like they're nuts. But
right. Exactly.
You have to at some point in time while you're listening to these people, and I do this to myself and with myself, but I have to stop my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I physically have to say enough because I know I am starting to go into that rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to go into that rabbit hole because I know it's absolute complete nonsense what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get worse with social media and AI. And
it has.
And again, my thing is when I hear someone start to talk about something, and I do this at work too as well, and I do this in social settings as well.
We know.
When someone starts to say something, the first thing I ask is, did you see this on TikTok?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Did you see it on social media?
And if TikTok is primarily.
Oh, yeah.
Primarily too. And if they say TikTok, I go stop because I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I said, if you are actually using TikTok as your news source, you got a problem.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You got because there are fucking tunnels under Diggy's house that go to Oprah's house. Hey. I'm like, who the fuck? Who come up with this tunnel shit?
Like TikTok.
Why would Oprah say, "Hey, dig a tunnel from your house to my house"? Dude?
TikTok is just like TV as well, and back then newspapers did a lot of propaganda.
Well, no, National Enquirer and
we had special.
That's what I'm saying. There was magazines and stuff. No, because even newspapers, if you look back, the whole propaganda against marijuana happened because of like someone who owned a paper mill. So newspapers, though, any source of info where you could get like information
out there,
could be used against certain things as propaganda. So
because it all depends on who owned the newspaper. Mm-hmm. Like the Modesto Bee was a liberal paper, very liberal, right? So it was always pointing their
agenda
against the other side, right? Mm-hmm. So it all depends, and you had to take that into account when you which source you want to get your information from,
right?
Because there's really not a neutral site anymore. Right. I mean, it's either there's one side or the other side. So that's why I tell people, I said, look, whatever you see on your side, go look at the other side and see what they're saying.
Always.
And somewhere in the middle, you'll find the truth.
You find the answer somewhere in the middle. Just research. Do your research. Don't take one thing as gospel.
Yeah.
The Da Vinci Code messed me up.
Dude.
I'm gonna throw one.
Book of Treasures, whatever it was with Nick Cage was awesome.
I love that.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Always.
Does Jesus exist?
Yeah.
Right.
I throw a yes out there.
I would say yes, but if you were to ask like Native Americans who are old school, no. Right. So if you ask the Buddhists, no. All right. So it all depends on your beliefs and where you aim at.
We'll end it
and
there.
what you're taught.
We don't want to piss off everyone.
No.
We're gonna freaking end it with the Dodgers are gonna take it, bro.
Right on, Dodgers. That's how we're gonna end this bad boy.
What the fuck?
Say goodbye, Johnny. Becky, it was great seeing you, babe.
Shout out to all of you guys watching. Thank you for tuning in.
I think we're done now.
Yeah, go Dodgers.
Yeah.
What the show
right there.
Well, we're gonna look into the camera,
and
we're gonna say hello and goodbye to all the Bigfoot fans out there.
Yes.
All the moon landing disbelievers, and the flat earthers. You
guys are welcome to the table too.
Yeah, you're welcome, but we're gonna destroy you.
Yeah, we have one word of wisdom.
Maybe you could change our minds. Yeah.
Put the shrooms down. Put the
right. Hey, no, you know what? Share those shrooms because I want to see what you're.
Yeah, maybe take the shrooms and open your mind.
I want to see what you're smoking on.
Yeah. All right, Becky, we love you, and John.
Yes, look into the camera and say goodbye, everybody. Bye.